Could make it WINO forever.
Good evening, welcome to the Viper Room.
I counted it already.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. You know, you're skimming, you're out.
You have a problem, Hardigan?
No, it ain't nothing I can handle.
Good, I can tell.
Do you, want this in the safe?
No. Put it in the usual place. Then rid the fun John of all illegal substances currently being consumed in there, all right?
What a treat. 22,466 change. It's not bad.
Hello, everybody. This is episode 6. I got to get this title correct or somebody will come after me online. WINO Forever, the Deeppening podcast. This is the Viper Room Part 2. We're going to get into some of the seedier side of Johnny Depp's club that he owned from 93 to 04. I am joined, my name is Sarah, of course. I am joined by Mr. Arm, as usual. The entertainment portion of the podcast is about to join us. Mr. Arm,
I want
how
to
are
apologize. I want to apologize first for pre-apologize, just because I'm coming off a weak cold, which you could hear probably on the last radio gunk. I'm still probably on the 5-yard line of it. Hopefully, it's not nearly as bad, but I apologize for any hacking of phlegm. I don't have a personal Dr. Kipper cleaning my lungs every 10 minutes. So I'm going to have to, there you go. I'm going to have to, I guess, fan the phlegm, stave off the phlegm as I go. Hopefully it's not.
I have the same exact thing. So if
It's going around. I've been hearing it's going around. I thought everybody says it all the time. Like, oh, well, it's going around. This is the time of year. But it truly is. I think I've spoken to about 4 or 5 people that have this.
I sneezed 6 times in a row about 3 minutes ago, so it might be out of my system.
Good.
But got a cough, and it's not COVID. It's a cold. Apparently, that's still a thing in the world. So
you don't have your Kevin Calabro cough button.
No,
and
I do have a button. I have a button here, and I will try to hit it if one of us has like a machine gun attack of cough or sneezes. But I can't guarantee anything. I'll try to edit it if it's too gross later on. But how are you doing other than the cold?
Good. I want to welcome any new listeners that have come over. Our subscribers are climbing to Joe Rogan lengths. I can't. And I want to welcome everybody to the WINO Forever Deeppening family.
We are almost
your family. We're all family.
We're almost at 400.
That's not bad for a niche.
That's 398 more than I thought, because each one of us would have subscribed. But
I'd say I don't know if I call. I mean, my friend Brendan called it a niche podcast. I'm not so sure I agree. He's an A-list icon. Why is that niche?
No, that's true.
I don't. If there's a Richard Grieco, if there's just Skeet Ulrich, it would be niche.
Oh God. Okay.
I'm not sure. A juggernaut A-list icon qualifies as niche.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We got a couple videos to watch today. Of course, we're going to go off on tangents on every single one of them. So this could be 10 hours. I don't know. But
can I start with Depp news first?
Yeah, please do.
Quickly. Okay, so just a couple things I saw this week. The movie Minamata, which we've both seen very legally. Yes. It's been released seemingly in every country except the United States. I mean, one would have thought it was released so once you've seen it already, you're not very concerned with, oh, is it still? I swear I thought I saw it was running, but like a lot of films of this COVID era, you're not sure where it's playing, you're not sure how long. the releases they had on HBO Max and Disney and stuff. And so, how is the theater a huge deal to them anymore? I'm not sure, but apparently it was never actually released stateside. I thought it slipped in and came and went. I thought I read that, and it was never released in the States, and they just announced because of some. Let me read this because it says Johnny Depp movie Minamata is finally getting a U.S. release. We can reveal now, but not from MGM, which had previously acquired the film. Ervolino and Lady Barcati Entertainment, of course, right? Could it be anyone else but Ervolino?
No.
Are now teaming up with Samuel Goldwyn Films, I've heard of that, to give the movie a North American release finally in theaters beginning December 15th. The platform release is due to extend across the U.S. and Canada into 2022, and the team are looking to position it for awards consideration. This update comes after the film's director, Andrew Levitas, complained earlier this year that the MGM was burying the Minamata film due to Depp's well-publicized off-screen issues. You can read the filmmaker's impassioned letter to the studio here. Depp also decried the non-release in an interview in August, which he said the film deserved to be seen, but was shelved because he was being boycotted by Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Minamata charts the true story of the acclaimed war photographer W. Eugene Smith, played by Depp, who traveled back to Japan in the 1970s to document the devastating effect of a mercury poisoning in the local communities by a major corporation which dumped chemicals into their waterways. Sounds a lot like Salem, Oregon, doesn't it?
Nowadays,
modern day.
Not far off, East Salem to be exact. But it's a good movie. It's a tough.
Would you like
subject.
me to read Levitas' impassioned speech?
Sure.
I hope it's not too long. I don't know. What did I get myself into here?
I know.
Okay.
I should put in hold music over the pause.
Maybe I'll try to truncate it somehow.
Okay. Is it a review or?
It's entitled what?
Okay. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The director wrote this when he found out it wasn't
okay.
getting released.
I'm with you finally. Too much cold medicine.
I thought because of the COVID theaters, I thought like it came out, but it didn't come out like it was this staggered release that never really counted.
Mm-hmm.
It's so confusing. Anything he comes out with now it gives you just a migraine trying to figure out. The City of Lies is a whole other story. That was even more rickety.
Mm-hmm.
The release of that thing.
That was the very beginning. That was the very beginning of
canceled. Yeah.
What people would call the downfall of Johnny Depp.
Not the movie. The movie's great. I love City of Lies.
No, the movie's great. I like the movie, but it came out at the worst time. Right.
His stead in Hollywood and his name was not carrying and a cachet. And a lot of it has to do with, hopefully, I don't know if we get into this now, but if Hollywood's counting greenbacks, these movies are not making money. If he's not pulling in the box office numbers, which The Last Pirates didn't, and fucking Alice in Wonderland 2 just bombed miserably. They lost tons of money.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot to do with that. I wonder if, Pirates 5 and the second Alice were a massive and the Harry Potter film he did, Fantastic Beasts, was the least money maker of all the Potter related films.
Yeah.
So if Hollywood's all about money, which we believe it is, if those movies maintained its box office, is he, quote, canceled?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, I'm not even forget Hollywood has no morals. They only know one thing: who's on top, box office. So if those movies did their usual take, is he actually canceled?
No,
I don't think so either. I think they could care less about there's a zillion people with Me Too abuse allegations now. Continue to work.
It's a good time. I'm going to let you continue here and just.
Whatchamacallit, I'm sorry, Casey Affleck being one of them.
Uh-huh.
Right? He has a supposed alleged rape
mm-hmm.
on the set of with Joaquin Phoenix, oddly enough, who we're going to get to later.
Well, today in this episode too, it's going to be a lot of the deviancy of Johnny Depp. Some of it alleged, some of it happened. We know almost for a fact. But what he's accused of is almost nothing compared to what most of these people making these judgment calls on morality in Hollywood have done.
Yeah.
So, you know, good luck to him. I wish him luck. Go ahead, continue.
Well, there's a million A-list actors that have way worse
Yep.
baggage hanging over
Mhm.
them that are thriving right now, and he's getting, the Warner Brothers machine with Aquaman. Who knows who's pulling the strings? The Elon Musk factor. It's a lot of weird moving parts. If I think I used that phrase right for the first time, moving parts. I always hear it, and I'm like, why do I use that? I've always wanted to use it. I think I successfully used it.
You're rarely
Let me know.
wrong. You're
Let me
rarely
know an
wrong
email if I
on
use it right.
anything.
What?
You're rarely wrong on
Yeah, right.
anything.
Yes, I am.
Okay, whatever. I
So
wish I
he
could say
writes.
you were.
I'll try to. This is from the director of Minamata.
Yes, please go ahead.
To the MGM team, roughly a year ago, MGM purchased the North American rights to the film Minamata after reviewing it at Berlinale. MGM was intent on bringing light to suffering of thousands of victims of one of the most heinous industrial pollution incidents the world has ever seen, and re-exposing their pain in the sharing of the story. This long marginalized community hope for only one thing: to lift history from the shadows so that other innocents would be afflicted as they have, and it seemed in that moment with MGM's partnership, decades-long wish that was finally coming true. Now imagine the devastation when they learned this past week that despite an already successful global rollout, MGM had decided to bury the film. Acquisitions head Mr. Sam Woolman's words, not mine, because MGM was concerned about the possibility that the personal issues of a certain actor in this film could reflect negatively upon them, and that from MGM's perspective, the victims and their families were secondary to this. In a stark reminder of the Chisso Corporation's actions in Minamata, far too many other large corporations, unethical tactics, MGM started that it would live up to its legal obligation, nothing more. In doing so, MGM is making a conscious decision to hurt these innocents yet again, callously trampling on their lives, their legacy, their dead loved ones, and their bravery. We sat in Tamako Umora's father in Minamata as he spoke in a deeply pained voice, pain that no one should ever feel, the pain of a lost child, a child who suffered every single day of her life. A child was many have born horribly deformed because of large faceless corporation that didn't live up to their moral obligation to humanity, decency, and righteousness. He spoke with wisdom, grace, and unimaginable dignity. Yes, you are legally within your rights to bury this story, as so many have done before, but you have a moral obligation to do better than that. And at a minimum, we implore you to speak directly to Mr. Umora and the other victims, and then offer the dignity of understanding firsthand why you think an actor's personal life is more important than their dead children, their siblings, their parents, and all victims of industrial pollution and corporate malfeasance. I'll stop right there. You get the idea.
It's a great letter. It's a great letter. I just wish that the people or the entity he's addressing it to gave a crap. They don't.
You think the filmmakers care more than the victims do, is what you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay.
The people that are holding this movie back, they don't care.
They don't know. How would you corporations or production heads care about
No. Now if
the
this
morals involved?
it's a tough subject to sell. If it was a If it was a superhero movie, it would have been out.
Do you think Marvel and Disney care about World War II?
No.
When they did Captain America?
Nope. And
of course
the movie,
not.
I don't think I want to get into a movie review here. I'll do that later, but it's a good movie. You know, my legal copy that I watched, it wasn't subtitled, unfortunately, during a very pivotal scene, confrontational scene, but you get the gist of it. And I got a little weepy. It's a sad movie. It's a sad ending overall, you know, for the subject, but yeah, I do wish, and I saw a video come up on YouTube in my suggestions that it had now a US release date and a Canadian release date. So we'll see.
The Canadian one's what I'm more worried about.
Yeah.
I need to know how it does in Manitoba. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's huge. You know how big Depp is in Manitoba.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Vancouver. I mean, he put the goddamn city on the map. doing 21 Jump Street, making it okay to film shit in Vancouver.
It's the
So he
Evergreen
should have
State.
the biggest audience in Vancouver.
Nobody knew about the Evergreen State before Johnny Depp.
She is referring to that's such that's so inside baseball. She is referring to 21 Jump Street's inability to identify its setting. It doesn't have a town. It doesn't have, and it bothered me for years, for decades. And it calls itself, upon like skimming through in a little binge, it calls itself Evergreen State Metropolis.
Yeah,
Metropolitan, was it Metropolitan?
Something, but it's Evergreen State. Remember, Penn Hall was standing in front of the fake driver's license.
Police, Evergreen State. Yeah.
So we'll get into that later too. And
which did you say that the state of Washington? That's its nickname.
So. It's 45 minutes away. I think so. I should know, but
you said that it's the nickname is Evergreen State.
I believe so. I should know.
So we were trying to deduce. I mean, they have nothing. When we get on, if Patrick Hasberg, that's like literally the first question I'm going to ask him about why you didn't give it a setting, why you didn't give it a proper city. I mean, my only theory was like, oh, well, we don't want to portray Detroit or Chicago or LA or to look like, oh, it's got nothing but bad schools. And so we're going to leave it just nebulous. And we're going to nameless, and we're not going to, because it's so when you watch that show. I mean, if you read any message board discussion about it, when people who kind of relive the show now, whatever, that's one of the first things people are going through is like, where is this supposed to be? What city is this? Where is this? People don't. So when you go through it and you really, really zabruted the whole thing, and, there's little hints they drop, but they won't. Like they'll say Chicago, or Booker one time goes, he's like, yeah, I'm from back east. I'm from New York. And you're going, okay, so where are you now? So they always manage to not say where they are now. And Holly Robinson is a Cubs fan. So that had me thinking the show is in Chicago.
Well, every young adult in their bedroom, every young adult character has a Chicago Bears poster.
Yeah, right. We were talking about that. So there's got to be like producers or writers on the show who are Chicagoans. Are going to have to ask Hasberg that, because all they do is reference Chicago sports things throughout. And it's the time of like, it's just after the 85. It's a few years after the Ditka, Walter Payton, Jim McMahon Bears. You see, Hanson was in I think it was the chapel, like right behind his desk. It was a Jim McMahon poster. Was it? He was in like a spacesuit.
No, he's in a naval.
That's it. Right.
Oh, no, maybe Air Force. I'm sorry.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And there was so much, and then there's tons of Cubs references, and there's this constant. So I just, it's so frustrating. And we're never going to get an answer because there is no setting. There is no setting. It's just and because my other theory was, because it was shot in Vancouver, they don't want you to know. They don't want Americans to know that it's shot in Vancouver. So they can't, you might recognize, people who knew Vancouver would recognize things in the background because they didn't feel like covering it up. So you could say, no, that's Vancouver. So if they call it any town, USA, whatever, Evergreen State, they don't have to. And, Seattle is very close to Vancouver.
Well, yeah, Vancouver has the poor man's Space Needle. And that's what I recognize as Vancouver instantly. Not a lot of people will know that, but yeah, it's obvious. If you're from, within 1,000-mile radius of Seattle, Washington, you probably know that this is Vancouver.
Yeah, they're worried about landmarks getting Rocket Dog. By the way, a poor man's Space Needle is like the worst penis euphemism right in the world. So is Rocket Dog. So remember that place Rocket Dog was like, I guess, I don't know if anyone from Canada listens to this. Is that a real fast? It is, right? Because they had the awning and stuff. They didn't make that for the show.
I doubt it.
It's like a fast food chain, I guess, in Vancouver. But anyway, back to Minamata. Hollywood is obsessed with, getting into the award mix, and so they feel almost pompously. I mean, you watched it, I watched it. Do you think it's award worthy?
I think
Lesser films have won awards, right? I mean,
there is a degree of them trying to be award worthy.
is it pandering to the award shows?
Maybe.
The Oscar format where you do. His performance is great. It's chameleon Depp. He's very feeble. He plays almost like the photographer version of Thompson, of Hunter S. Thompson. Even the name is Smith, like W. Eugene Smith. You got to have the initial in there. And I can almost see like him and Thompson teaming up. He's the photographer and Thompson's. It's got a very similar tone in that way. He's kind of eccentric. He's kind of a curmudgeon. I think he started out as a sports photographer too in Iowa. I read his mini bio, and the film's really good. They reinvent the 70s pretty well. I love the scenes in New York in the beginning where they reinvent the 70s New York, big bad gritty New York. I guess it's like the early 70s.
Yeah.
And he's strutting down the street, and they did a good job. It really felt like that, that old New York feeling you have when you watch some of these films. Donnie Brasco did that really well too. In the late 70s, early 80s. It really felt like that gritty time in New York. So yeah, I mean, his performance probably is as good as anyone's, as it tends to be when he plays a whenever he does a true, that isn't true. Maybe it is true crime. I mean, it could be.
It's a crime.
Yeah, it's crime. It's not Blow or Brasco, but let's call it. But anytime he does a biopic piece like that, he nails it.
It's got your favorite,
like his best.
Your favorite stuff in there. It's got the love story, which is you love.
He's good at. I like that Depp is not his love story. Anytime there's romance in anything he does, it's never over the top. It's always kind of subtle. And he doesn't do a lot of sex scenes, if you notice.
Well, I read something about him and Kate Moss the other day, and I think it's the Chateau Marmont. I'd call those love scenes. We'll get into it at some other point.
When's the Ellen Barkin Depp sex tape coming out from this set of somebody who's rolling a camera on Fear and Loathing?
I'd watch that.
Between takes.
I would so watch that. Sorry, I don't know. Do you hear a beep? Because I'm muting a lot.
No, I don't hear anything.
It beeps very loudly on my side. I didn't think you'd be able to hear it, but I'm muting to like cough and blow my nose constantly. So,
but it's funny. I obviously we're rooting for. If this ended up being like some and I just don't see the Oscar committee is so pretentious and guarded, but if he got at the last second an Oscar nom, it would be really interesting to see in this cancel period if he could overcome that with an Oscar nomination, and just get back in the graces of those who.
I think it's going to be years before that even happens, no matter what material is presented. This has to pass somehow.
Even a Golden Globe or it's
the same thing
award.
To me. I don't see it happening.
I'd rather have I'd rather have a SAG award than for Best Actor than an Oscar, even though in the minds of the humanoids, the simpleton, but the SAG award is every actor with Screen Actors Guild membership voting. That's the much better award.
I wouldn't mind like the People's Choice Award, even though it's on the level of the Nickelodeon Kids. Choice.
That's humanoid. That's you
okay.
Getting like fangirls voting.
That's okay because
times.
that might bring attention. It might make somebody who's in charge and making these decisions.
Look, the people still on them.
Exactly.
But
and
you don't think they fix it? You don't think they fix that? They pull a Vince McMahon or I used to think the NBA used to fix the All-Star voting.
The NBA fixes things? Are you kidding? With LeBron's COVID test?
He's going to be Depp's going to be the Yao Ming of the People's Choice Award.
Ugh.
He's going to get all the whole continents of Asia are going to vote for him. And he's going to clean up. I don't know because they can manipulate anything they want. I don't know if CBS really counts their votes or whoever does the People's Choice. I think it's CBS.
Yeah, more than likely. What network hates him the most, Fox?
Fox.
You think Fox hates him?
Well, I talked about the irony with Fox, right? You got Fox News, and it's that whole fucking neocon
they probably like him
band.
then.
He started the network.
Yeah.
There'd be no Fox News, ironically. Remember, he got into that whole tiff with O'Reilly when Depp made the supposed anti-American sentiments.
Yeah.
And it's a lot like America's not, it's like a dumb puppy that bites you, but it doesn't know why. He ended up being right. First of all, we never should have been in Iraq. Nobody apologized to him. He was absolutely spot on. I don't know where he got his military intel from, Hunter S. Thompson or whoever, but he was spot on. He never got he called. Apparently, the story is he called Fox and had a conversation with O'Reilly and his people off the air, and said, if you're gonna take it up with me, don't, and he never went on, but he had it out with them, like off the air. This is what I've heard. He confirmed it.
Well, too,
because O'Reilly was like bad, the fucking fake patriotism.
That reminds me too, we're going to get into in this video his running off to France and the alleged reasons for that in 2004-ish.
Well, yeah, it was like he was flying the French flag, and he, I hate to break it to you, and I wish I had some voice at that time, or if I could somehow get on O'Reilly and yell at him, or it's funny, he had a radio show. I wish I could have. Johnny Depp started the national Fox network. He put it on the map. He's the Ricky Henderson of the Fox. He was the leadoff hitter on the first show that had legitimized it with top 20 ratings. There'd be no Fox News. There'd be no NFL. There'd be no any of this shit if they didn't. We talk, Christina Applegate and Married with Children and the Gary Shant. They beat the Simpsons. Even they predate all of it. Well, so 21 Jump Street started all this shit. You have no O'Reilly. You have no career if it's not for Depp starting turning the lights on.
You just stole it. Thank you. I was going to say, you posted a video to our channel too, literally him turning the lights on to Fox. So
yeah, everybody should watch that. I thank you for mentioning that, Sarah.
It was a good upload.
And what it is the promo when Fox first started. They had one night of the week. It was Sunday night. Fox broke all the rules. They said, we're going to be the fourth network. We're only going to have one night a week. They didn't have enough funding at the time. I guess Barry Diller was the head of Fox. And he's like, we're going to do Sunday night. This is when nobody cared. They broke so many rules. It's such a revolution. I can't emphasize this enough. Nobody seems to give them credit. Sunday night television was nothing back then. You remember being a little girl? Like, it was the night when nothing was on. You got all depressed. You'd school the next day. They never ran anything good on Sunday night.
Well, we said it before too. Stephen J. Cannell comes on sitting at that typewriter, and my weekend was over. That's the signal.
That's right.
I got to get ready for bed. Go tomorrow to see those a-holes at school. My boyfriend Johnny Depp had just left me for a week, and
if you're aspiring to Tom Hansen as your boyfriend, who in your school is gonna stack up? That's right.
Nobody. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They had a lot to live up to.
Hopefully the Jump Street team comes to Oregon. Well, they're not in any state, so maybe they could.
Yeah. How sad. I was 12 and he was my boyfriend. He was like, what, 22? It's illegal somewhere.
I think he started 23 was the first year.
Oh. Tom Hansen, though.
He was 23 when the show started.
Okay.
But so Fox, Sunday they decided, well, nothing's on Sunday. Let's take Sunday night. We'll have the real estate all to ourselves, and let's start our programming when everybody else's ends. So they're starting their seasons like in that weird spring into the summer when all the networks stop their new shows, and they're just gonna have the run of the place. But they only had one night a week. And eventually, I think by 1989-90, they moved to 2 nights. So they took on Monday night. Jump Street moved to Monday night, and they broke all the. It was a little more politically incorrect. Jump Street was an edgy show at the time on a network. Married with Children was doing provocative stuff that other shows wouldn't dare touch. And it was, it doesn't get enough credit for breaking down. And now Sunday night's the biggest night of the week. How did that happen?
No,
For television? All the big shows on HBO and AMC and are all going against each other, crashing together. I always say now, you want to get it off Sunday night, put it on randomly during the week. Sunday Night Football now is bigger than Monday Night Football.
I don't doubt that. He started it. You can't credit
all
anybody.
Started there.
I think even Christina Applegate, you can't credit her with starting it. It was all Johnny Depp and
she would be the female
fandom. I don't even think
she would be the female.
I know guys were crazy over her and her white hair.
She definitely had a big male following, but he was bigger.
He was there, wasn't he there though slightly before her? I don't know why I'm arguing about this. I don't really
Well, Jump Street started the night.
Yeah.
So it was 7
o'clock. I am correct.
April 14th, I think 1987. The 2-hour pilot. So that launched, turned the lights on. I'm not even saying that with hyperbole. It turned the lights. It's literally, there's lights in the Fox insignia that are getting turned on. And so if anybody gets a chance on our channel, it's him kind of starting the network. And he comes out
that's
and
how
introduces
you titled it too. You titled it correctly.
And I wrote a description about how that worked. Cannot credit it enough.
Yep.
But hopefully, I don't know. Will he get a nomination for Minamata?
No.
Probably not. I just think because they're chicken shit. Because his performance is probably as good as anyone's. But like, what year do you even consider this coming out? Because I don't even know. If you cut the last year, you want to call it, sure.
That's probably the technicality that they will justify their denial with. No, it's actually last year's movie, so therefore it does not qualify.
But isn't that the shitty thing about the arts? Whether it's acting or music or comedy, it's subjective. So you can do anything you want. That's what I love about sports. It's merit-based. You have statistics. You have the best of the best is clearly doing the job and probably going to get rewarded for it. You're not going to get in this. You could do whatever you want. There could be all sorts of politics and biases and stuff, and you don't know. There's no such thing as best act. He'll said it himself all the time. There's really no such thing as best actor. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Best comedian, best musician. The best musicians are working at 3 o'clock in the morning on Bleecker Street playing jazz guitar. They're not fucking John Mayer.
No, you're right. I agree. I usually do.
Or whoever, whatever pop musician you want to use, Miley Cyrus.
Oh, I don't know.
There's virtuosos on scholarships, like that are looking at who would love to make a cent in the music business. It's the dumbest thing in the world. There's no best music. It's the Grammys, it's stupid. It's all arbitrary and sometimes you come together and you say that is the best. Have you really seen every movie that year? What if it's a brilliant performance in a bad movie? Does that count? Or the movie has to be good too?
I think, oh God, I can't think of one.
The whole thing is so convoluted. But here's the hoping. And one last thing on the news front, just an addendum, an addendum. The Discovery Plus documentary. So it's Johnny versus Amber, or is it Depp v. Heard?
I think it is Johnny versus Amber.
I have on very good authority, I guess it's I don't even know if it's Elon Musk is a fucking benefactor for this Discovery Plus channel.
That I'm sure he jumped at the chance to do that, and that is going to tell you how this is going to go.
So we're not going to get. So you think you're going to get an unbiased look, and it actually says it. Which raises up flags immediately. Says, well, the first time it's going to be from Depp's perspective, and the second episode is going to be from the succubus's perspective. Do you really think you're going to get? You really don't think that's going to be? If he has anything to do with this, and apparently he's a benefactor on this channel. They actually did his space crap. They did documentaries on his space exploration stuff.
I think most people already know this. Elon Musk and Amber Heard, and there is video of him, security video of him going up to the penthouse she shared with Johnny Depp while they were still very much married. They were not separated. She is all over him, practically naked. They're going up. Apparently, this was an most nights thing while Johnny Depp was
Does
out
she
of
steal
town.
his wallet in the elevator?
I don't, yeah,
She's huddling down. I think she reaches into his pocket and takes his wallet at some point.
or something. He is such a vile human.
By the way, if those two had kids, does the kid say if it's a male? Does the boy get Elon's pre-hair plug hair or post hair plug hair? And by the way, is the hair plugs made out of the same stuff his Tesla is, or space shuttle?
Oh God. They
Same tonsil strength.
They allegedly have a daughter, and maybe those hair plug genes will skip over gender and hit her as well. I don't know. We'll see.
You see the before and after of his hair?
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he looked like Prince. What's his name? The Prince Andrew. No, wait. Who's one of the royal family? I don't care about
the
that.
youngest one.
Yeah, the younger one.
Edward.
That's right. The guy who.
I haven't had to recall those names in years. Thanks a lot. God, if he didn't have his $1 billion, he would have no luck with women, of course. And the stories you hear about him and Amber Heard and the women they were bringing into their relationship, allegedly, not really, but mind-blowing. I'm imagining Elon Musk with these two women, and something just doesn't fit.
And the story goes, a lot of people don't even realize, he actually called up Robert Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And said, I like Amber Heard
Succubus.
from I like the succubus that was in. Is it which Rodriguez movie is it?
It's some stupid title.
Yeah, it's just stupid. Right.
D-list stupid
Chainsaw something or other.
I don't know. Extreme something.
Can't stand his movies. No. Depp was in a Rodriguez movie.
Mm-hmm.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico. It's the third movie of the mariachi trilogy.
No,
He's actually, again, another movie he steals. He completely steals a movie from Banderas. It's like Banderas isn't even there.
Mm-hmm.
He plays like a daredevil, Matt Murdock, like gunfight. He's a blind CIA gunfight. It's a strange ass role, but it's really, really an underrated, sly performance from him.
Yeah. Oh, I have not watched yet. I know I said this, and I don't think anybody cares, but the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I did not watch that from my
Still haven't watched it.
Nope, because I am sick and I don't want to have to think or decipher about anything. So maybe next time. We'll see.
If you're gonna drink, if you're gonna break your drinking virginity, that's the movie to do. It is no better film to just get wasted during and really, really glorify it and bask in it and feel good about it.
My Walmart mango tea won't do it.
Throw a little rum in there.
I mainline this stuff. There is so much artificial sweetener in this mango tea. I am going to suffer for this later in life in some obscene and grotesque way. We'll see. Can't wait.
Oh, I love that. You drinking that like Crystal Light stuff?
No, it's it's not even that. It's the Great Value mango. It is fantastic.
No, but isn't it the same kind of thing? It's like diet iced tea.
No, not really.
I used to love this stuff. I don't know if you probably do. Crystal Light iced tea.
Yeah, I've had it.
And I'm not really. I do drink a lot of diet soda, and because I don't love sugar. I don't have a sweet tooth anymore. And who needs the sugar? But it is one of the best tasting diet drinks ever in mankind is the Crystal Light iced tea.
Mm-hmm.
Even the raspberry kind. I don't know what they put in that shit, and I don't want to know. But it is that is so good.
I've had all of that. As a woman, you diet at least a dozen times in your life, and they sell that stuff to you as a great diet drink.
Yeah.
So
and
I've had it all, and the only thing I enjoy is the Great Value mango or the green peach tea. No aftertaste. I can't stand an aftertaste. So it's good stuff. Do you want to talk about this video?
Now you have me craving Crystal Light.
I'll send some to you.
Yeah, I think I can handle. Well, isn't there? What's the other company? There's two companies that made it. It was the Crystal Light. It was one, and then the other one, I forget the name. There's two companies, and even the store brand. They all mimic the formula. Whatever you can find, you know what I'm talking about. Weilers or something.
Yeah,
that was the other brand.
Weiler's is like the grape, the extreme flavors, like the pure sugar grape flavor,
But
and
they have a
the
diet
strawberry, like
edition
punch.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I stick
And
with my great value.
they bit off the Crystal Light, so it's like Hydrox cookies to Oreo or McDowell's to McDonald's.
Yeah, McDowell's to Radio Gunk. So long story. Okay, we have a very long video. We need to start, or I'm going to go crazy. So, are you ready to start this?
Yes. I think we're. I think the news is. I don't think I have anything else right now.
Right.
No, I'm good.
We can cover it next week. Probably next week too, unless plans change. We will be doing a. You want to say it? The manager.
Tracy Jacobs' deposition. Pun intended.
I may have a voice.
It is a fascinating transcript. Everybody knows the court transcripts from the UK trial for the Sun, but this is his manager about his money issues versus his business managers, and she got subpoenaed, I think Amber Heard's lawyers drilled her on what she knows, and it was linked to the managers. That it is a transcript unlike any book could ever capture in terms of breaking down the fourth wall of Depp's life in Hollywood. It is such an underrated read, and it is better, I think, as good or better than any of the UK transcripts people have been reading. And
I've never heard it mentioned or talked about anywhere else on any of these other
nobody
Depp podcasts.
Because it doesn't make Depp
it's not. Yeah, it's his fault.
It doesn't make him look great, and if she has obviously an axe to grind, and maybe she's spot on about some things. We're going to have to just accept the truth. He's not perfect in every way. I always look upon like my fandom of him as like a sports fan wanting the very best from his team that criticizes his team. You know, they're all over YouTube and they have, sports and they criticize their favorite player and they want the very best. It's only out of love. They want the maximum potential. And I look at him as having maximum potential in a career. And I don't, when I see him make a bad script decision, it hurts me more than it hurts him because I know he's capable of better. I know I want to pick the movie for him so bad. And I just know that he gets so many, it's mismanagement. It's a lack of, it's a senility almost where he's in a position for years where he was getting the best scripts Hollywood has to offer. When you turn down, say, the Grand Budapest Hotel and you do Mordecai, there's a problem. I'm not gonna advocate for it. I want the best film. I want to see him live up to what I know he's capable of. And I can't stand the choosing of bad scripts so you can play with the Hollywood vampires for 6 months. I have no interest in you playing air guitar for 8 weeks in Germany.
I know. Well, Mordecai, speaking of, comes into effect in the trial. It's one of the incidences. I think that back at the hotel.
Yeah, I'm kind of quoting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Tracy Jacobs reveals that he got, and that movie's okay, fine. Grand Budapest Hotel, whatever. I'm just using an example of something she actually admits he turned down. That turned out to be a huge hit. It made a lot of money too, and he did, Mordecai instead of it, or Transcendence.
Yeah. Do you think
Succubus was another version of that? It's like a different version of what?
You think Succubus, with her pristine selection of, her IMDb history, she advised him to go with the Mordecai route?
No, I can't see her. I can't see her having any impact or input on that decision. That's a great question. I don't know if he ever if he consulted with her over, she's just got the succubus clause in there and she's looking at scripts she's got giving him, not that Is he in such a pussy fog that he would listen to her
Well, at that
about
time,
taking a film?
she was allegedly taking on the role of his mother. So,
But supposedly she claims he was advising her.
That's true.
On various things.
It's a good idea because the crap she was doing was atrocious. So,
but and to some extent, his ain't much better.
I know. I know.
In terms of scripts,
I try to defend him. I can't in every
during that time.
I know.
There's some really, really bad ones, and I can't defend them.
I know. Sorry, coughing.
Because I know the access and offers he gets,
and
that's irresponsible.
And
that's the reason we're fans, because initially, that independent spirit in the 90s, certainly starting with Jump Street and then into the 90s, you go, oh my God, Ed Wood and Gilbert Grape, and holy shit, what's he going to do next? And Donnie Brasco and Scissorhands. And it was like a constant curveball he's throwing you. And then after the Pirates movies and the weird money, it got very predictable. You knew he was going to do the next Tim Burton movie. It started to get stale. The exotic goth accent in the Burton movie. I knew by the time Dark Shadows came out, enough with Tim Burton. I'd drawn the line. I think after, I want to say Sweeney Todd, I'm like, all right, enough Tim Burton.
When it was a musical, of course, when he was singing in like the trailer, I said, I'm not going to ever watch this movie.
Well, no, he did a really good job in Sweeney Todd. I mean, he basically channeled David Bowie. Well, it's worth it. He channeled David Bowie during the movie. Any fans of that play? I didn't even know the play. As bad as it sounds, I didn't even know the play that well. Stephen Sondheim, the composer, apparently gave him his blessing. He actually went over the stuff with him and apparently really loved his performance, which is really the best praise you can get. He got nominated for an Oscar for Sweeney Todd. I just said after Sweeney Todd, I'm like, okay, that's enough. You've done it all with Tim Burton. You're going to start to repeat yourself. And sure enough, the Dark Shadows stuff. And I'm just like, wow, that was one too many. And nothing against Tim Burton. He's a genius for what he does, but I don't want to see that collaboration anymore. I don't think there's anything more those two can do.
Yeah. Let's start this video so we can rest our voices for a couple seconds. So you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're going to start out. Johnny Depp is going to talk about what his overall vision for the Viper Room was. And then it's going to jump right into a show called FBI Files, where it talked about an incident that was happening. Something that was happening at the Viper Room in 2003, 2004-ish.
Yeah, he leaves, he parts ways with them by 2004. Yeah.
Yeah. Darren Feinstein was a mogul that purchased the Viper Room from Depp in 2003, 2004, believe 4. It's a quick blurb about the gambling ring that was being run. So
Feinstein, is that Irish, German, and 1/25th Cherokee Indian like Depp is?
It's Eskimo. All right, I can say that because I'm Eskimo. So let's start this.
I'm jealous.
I know.
You have more of a predilection for ice than I do, it would appear.
Don't even get into ice with me. I'm so sick of ice right now. Anyway, freezer broke down today.
There's some nerve.
I know, sorry. I saved all the ice for you. I'm going to ship
no
it
ice. Unlike my George Bush philosophy is no ice cubes left behind. Save all the ice.
I did manage to save my ice cubes, and they were put in the freezer and then returned back to the chest freezer.
I was genuinely worried about the ice.
Okay, let's start this.
What I wanted out of the Viper Room, first and foremost.
The Viper Room.
What I wanted
out of the Viper
Room.
Great. No, you go ahead.
First and foremost, which I thought would be great. It'd be a place where I've never seen this, but I've seen enough interviews with him speaking about the Viper Room. So I think he says something like, let's see if I'm right. That'd be a fun game to predict what he'll say in an interview.
He might throw you off on this one.
Okay.
And by the way, girl talk here. He looks okay. I mean, that you take that stupid hat off.
What year is it?
I don't know. It's just like 16, maybe 17.
Can he pass for a high school student in Evergreen State? Okay.
If he wants to come be with me, I'll pretend he's a high school student if that's what he's going to do. How many scarves are here, do you think? 3?
I hate to say this,
I'm gonna cough.
but I think I think the scarves are. There's something going on with his neck.
Oh, you sent me a
Yeah,
picture, and I think
there's
you're
some
right.
kind of scarring, or I don't know, like old dudes get whatever that
Now I'm gonna
inverted
be
thing
looking.
is.
I'm gonna be looking at this video and looking to see if his neck is blurred.
I don't know what the term for it is, but there's like the inverted,
Yeah.
the old dude kind of chicken neck when you can see the lines and I don't know if it's a smoking thing. There's something going. I think the scarves are
Well, speaking of the
playing a
smoking,
part.
this is horrible. I need to power wash these teeth somehow. All right, here we go.
Power
To how
wash
to
these teeth. How very guinea of you. That's so funny. I got to
I'm gonna
tell
stand
Dennis.
in my robe and my slippers and black socks and
I got
power
to tell.
wash his teeth like I would the driveway.
I got to tell Monique and Dennis, especially that one.
Ugh. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
place that you could go to where you weren't necessarily on display all the time, or you didn't feel like a novelty,
He loves novelty.
You didn't have to sneak in and sneak
Snake in. Okay.
that
out,
went to
you
shit
know,
in
hide
2
and
weeks.
all that, and you could listen to the music, that you and your friends like. And we wanted to hear Louis Jordan, and we wanted to hear Cab Calloway, and we wanted to hear old blues, Robert Johnson, and Howlin' Wolf. So that was the initial thing, Let's make this place feel like it should have been, or like maybe it was back then, in the 30s. A speakeasy. It was called
Sorry,
the
can you
Melody
pause it?
Room.
Yep.
I'll say this again. Then you even at that point, and I don't know, I'm going through the Anthony Fox financing. Then put an extension on your house and have soundproof it and have your friends show up there. Why, under the auspices of starting a business on the Sunset Strip, do you think this is going to be some private thing where no one's going to know about it? If you're not interested in making money, excellent, good, more power to you. It's for the love of music. Do it. Put an extension on your goddamn mansion and play music there with your friends. Why even pretend to have a business?
I have a theory, and there is going to be a CDAN clip, Crazy Days and Nights clip, where they talk about a disappearance. And he opened up this club with some unsavory fellows as silent partners,
right,
along with Anthony Fox. So maybe it was these unsavory fellows needed a famous face to open up this club they wanted to open.
But don't you think that all contradicts everything he just said with what the club became in 2 weeks?
That thing about wanting to hear Cab Calloway and blues, that went down the
when did they do that?
in a day.
Yeah, right.
As soon as he let the cocaine dealers and heroin dealers into that club for his celebrity friends to enjoy.
Christina Applegate, Jennifer Aniston, and Courtney Cox are showing up to listen to Cab Calloway.
I know, exactly. Yeah. They're listening to Juliette Lewis sing with her shit band.
I know. Immediately that was trampled on.
Yeah,
those
Tina Yothers. Tina Yothers. She played there.
Oh, that's right. She had a band. That's right. That's right.
I think even Corey Feldman played there. I can't get video.
Did they really?
Yeah, I think so. It just went down the toilet. Okay.
I love that Corey Feldman explanation. He goes, I love music. I'm always going to play music, and there's nothing you're going to do to stop me from playing my music. It's my first love, and it will always be my first love.
Ascension Millennium will teach you that everything he says is true.
What about choreography?
That's a book. That's a great book. I recommend it. Anyway, okay. So, and by the way, when this was the Melody Room, as you can see on the screen, this was a club that was owned by Bugsy Siegel. So it's
he loves that too.
It's got a history already, and then allegedly
we romanticize the mafia way too much.
I love like mob stuff though. I've seen every documentary.
But how about the irony of Donnie Brasco himself owning Bugsy Siegel's place?
What year did he do Brasco?
97.
Okay.
February of 97.
He was right in the thick of the Viper Room then. Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely knee deep.
Yeah.
At that time, I mean, the people that I heard that had played there were like, Charlie Parker, Coltrane, you know, all these amazing players from back in the day, you know. So yeah, we were all very excited about the history of the place.
Okay,
You know,
so
you know what a big fan Paris Hilton is of Charlie Parker, right?
I've looked at so many in this last month and a half. I've looked at so many photos of celebrities going in and out of the Viper Room. To see Kim Kardashian and
Yeah,
Paris Hilton go attending Perez
that's right.
Hilton's birthday party at the Viper Room tells me everything I need to know about how fast this went in the toilet.
Christina Applegate and Ornette Coleman.
By the way, we're going to talk about River Phoenix later. Isn't it alleged that she walked out that night when he's on the sidewalk and she stared at him and stood there crying and then said something to Depp? I can't find anything about it, but I heard somebody say it.
She said, "My
At one
babysitter's
point.
dead."
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. All right. So the next video we've got, this goes into the gambling ring. This Molly Bloom, sorry. This lady,
No, Broad's fine. Broad's fine. Stay with Broad.
Molly Bloom, she was the executive assistant to Darren Feinstein, who was the new owner, one of the new owners of the Viper Room. He
Very
asked
nice.
her to run this little side business he had going in the basement of the Viper Room, and here we go.
Beauty and charming personality, Feinstein recruited Molly to help run his weekly, highly exclusive poker game. It was held at the Viper Room, a bar he co-owned which sat on the illustrious gritty Sunset Strip in West Hollywood, a spot frequented by the Hollywood rich and famous. At this point, Molly was thrust into a new universe. She didn't know the first thing about poker. On her first night setting up the table, it was Google to the rescue. What kind of music do poker players like to listen to? What do poker players eat? The celebrities trickled in one by one, and by the end of the night, Molly had made $3,000 in tips, just like that. For these Hollywood names, $3,000 was nothing. For Molly at this point in her life, $3,000 was everything. It didn't take Molly long to learn the ins and outs of poker and the secrets to throwing exclusive top-tier events. Her skills quickly grew. She became comfortable dealing with celebrities and handling large quantities of cash. As her skills grew, so did her contact list, which she'd soon use to her own advantage. In typical Feinstein...
What?
The antiquated tech system, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, what year does she first... Is the poker game stuff with Feinstein?
The dates vary. It says 0304.
Okay, so Depp's selling it.
Yeah.
He's out of it by then.
Yeah, more than likely.
But here's the rub. This game and the cachet of it is being sold on the Viper Room name, which Depp made cool and popularized. But so you're not this game's not taking off if not for the Depp cool factor cachet attached to the Viper Room. You know what I mean? Even if he's not there, his legend looms over it forever.
Yeah, Feinstein talks about how he used what Johnny Depp had created to draw these celebrities in. But if you also think this is the first time this ever happened, something like this,
oh God, yeah.
I highly doubt that. That basement there are legends about that basement of the Viper Room.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
There's a reason it has a dirt floor, they say.
This is back then. This is, before smartphones and the internet. God knows what we missed. What could have been reported on.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't too much longer here. This is just a video about the basics of it.
In fashion, Molly was dealt with a double-crossing ultimatum. In Darren's eyes, Molly was making enough in tips from the weekly poker games that he didn't need to keep paying a salary for her legitimate job. But if Molly wanted to continue making the poker tips, she'd still have to do the grinding work as an executive assistant. 2 jobs, 1 payment. If she refused to continue adhering to each and every one of Feinstein's needs, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, she'd lose her chance at the poker.
I want to go to karaoke there.
Okay.
He was sitting in front of a karaoke. I love the reenactment. It shows on our desk. It said like antiquated tech system. It said, "Hey, great, I'll be there." It's supposed to be like Ben Affleck or Tobey Maguire or whatever. By the way, is Is she supposed to be the Heidi Fleiss of
poker world?
tournaments or something? Isn't that the way they're trying to like portray her here?
It sounds like it, yeah. She has a very interesting, I'm pretty sure I put that in there, encounter with Tobey Maguire.
Room as well. Molly fought back, pleaded her case, and as a result, was sent packing. Now with a handy set of skills and a Rolodex full of wealthy, attention-grabbing celebrities, Molly decided to utilize the contacts she made to start up a poker game of her own. Within a year, she built up her game to be one of the most exclusive and high-stakes poker tables in the world. Molly was using the celebrities she met during Feinstein's events to lure in even bigger names. Bigger names meant fatter wallets, and the fatter wallets meant much larger stacks of cash on the table. Initially, the buy-in started at $10,000, but it eventually soared up to $250,000, and if cash wasn't on hand, some truly surreal pieces of collateral were put forth, perhaps none more astounding than an original Monet painting. With the ability to buy back in once they'd lost all their chips, players could dig themselves into a hole in a matter of hours. Bloom admitted that she witnessed one particular celebrity lose $100 million in a single night. Astonishingly, he came back the very next day to pay up. This credit now, pay later system would soon get Molly into a world of trouble. She just didn't know it yet. Her ability to coordinate celebrities and manipulate them as assets were critical to her business's success. The poker princess made it clear people want to sit at a table with them, be close to them, and this was a big draw to the game. If Leonardo DiCaprio or Ben Affleck were making an appearance, it sent waves through the high-stakes poker community.
Don't forget, Ben Affleck is considered a degenerate gambler, and he has been.
He's a degenerate a lot of things.
At least a decade. Oh yeah, alcoholic.
He's turned Jennifer Gardner into this like incredible martyr of like femininity, you know, like just he cheated on her how many times and she came back and she's helping him through rehab. 15 rehabs. I know.
Well, he's crying in the back seat at some Jack in the Box drive-through.
People would know.
Fucking it's almost like the very definition of Hollywood decadence of why the terrorists hate us. You know, the squandering of Hollywood poker culture is just it's a weird fucking. You know, they remember the thing in the mid 2000s where they got into this. They were televising these poker games all the time.
I know. Yeah.
How bad of entertainment options do you have to watch a poker game on TV? It makes golf look like UFC.
Yeah, and it was always like you always saw like Rick Solomon playing poker.
He's in the right. Isn't his name brought up in
in another one that we watched?
Why do I know who that is? God, we shouldn't even know who that is. It's Paris Hilton's porn photographer or something.
Yeah,
her filmed her co-star. Right.
Yeah. He was also married to Shannon Doherty.
That's right.
That's what I know him from. And then he married later Pam Anderson.
Isn't it amazing how these weird Hollywood grifters are attached to? He's almost like the Pete Davidson of, like celebrity porn actors. Like he just like from one person to the next. It's almost like another broad has to date you because you dated her, and it's so bizarre how someone like that could be multi-attached to celebrities. Some of you have no idea. Well, and you shouldn't know who they are.
Going back to Shannon Doherty, 90210. I'm always going to defend 90210 stars. He cheated on Shannon Doherty.
By the way, she's on a Jump Street episode in the 4th season.
Oh, of course, I'm going to watch it.
It was before 90210.
I believe we're almost done with this Molly thing, and then we'll move on to my favorite story. Okay.
About it, and they'd pay up for a seat at the table. Molly knew this, with a particular reliance on one cashed-up celebrity. In Sorkin's movie, this greedy, tasteless, back-chatting celebrity is known only as Player X, played by Michael Cera. But across the media, it's inferred that Player X is, in fact, ex-Spider-Man Tobey Maguire. In Molly Bloom's memoir, she writes Tobey Maguire once offered her a $1,000 tip to bark like a seal that wants a fish. When she refused, he stormed off. Up until this point, everything that Molly was...
Yep.
How lazy. By the way, have you seen this movie, Molly's Game? Now I want to see this.
No. I haven't.
Because
seen it.
I saw the trailer for it, and so quickly the first thing I noticed and I absorbed, they renamed the Viper Room. This is typical fucking Aaron Sorkin. He's brilliant and a hack all at the same time. I can't explain. He repeats there's a video compilation of all his stuff where he repeats his tropes in all different stuff. It's fascinating. It's a brilliant thing. It's like a huge kind of cult thing online where all the Aaron Sorkin shows and movies, he uses the same dialogue in every thing he does.
Yeah.
He recycles like tropes and they put it like in a montage. It's brilliant.
Not surprising.
So they called the Viper Room something like shit. Oh God.
Something den. Python's den.
Something. The Python's den or something. The Python Lounge or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's a snake euphemism, and then they take the room out of the Viper Room and they call it lounge. It's something lounge. Yeah, I think you're right. Like Python. It looks so cheesy when you.
It is.
And by the way, how lazy are these actors? And this bothered me in the Zack Snyder DC films. The actress Jessica Chastain, dye your hair black.
Mm-hmm.
Molly Bloom's hair is she's a brunette. It's raven hair. She's black hair. She's not a redhead. We know you're using the name. Just put a wig on, dye the hair. How hard? The easiest thing in the world to do in a film. Dye your hair black. Your red hair doesn't work here. Are you that lazy? Does she say no? I can't alter my hair. It's like fucking what's her name, Amy Adams in the Zack Snyder. She's playing Lois Lane with red hair. I couldn't. It drove me mental. I couldn't focus on the movie. All you had to do, I don't even. Amy Adams is overrated and she's kind of boring and she does not capture Lois Lane to me at all. Not a bad actress, mediocre to slightly above it, but whatever. As Lois Lane, she didn't have the sassy fucking. She doesn't have it. Doesn't work for me, and it might have worked a little better if they made her hair black.
I got to tell you, on a lower level, entertainment level, as a child, I read, and this is what warped me, V.C. Andrews books. I devoured every series. I saw on YouTube that Lifetime, or Hallmark, Lifetime, had made TV movies about my favorite series. The main character has jet black hair in the book. That is pivotal to the story.
Exactly.
It determines her parentage by the end of the series. This character comes out with flaming red hair, with the lightest of blue eyes you've ever seen. I had to turn it off. I said, I can't.
Oh, I believe me.
Ruined.
You're preaching to the choir. Nobody understands. The hair thing is the easiest thing to get right. And you'll avoid all sorts. It's not, and often it's pivotal to the character, and they are still too. And these directors think they're making a stamp on the film, a creative stamp, by making some decision that they're not going to make the hair what the color is meant to be. Go fuck yourself.
Do you know
anyone who does? You're too lazy or pig-headed to just change the hair color to what it's supposed to be. It drives me mental.
You know what's one fact about my television movie I was talking about, and then I'm going to move on forever. Jason Priestley, speaking of 90210, was an executive producer of this series. He plays in the series, of course, because with Jason Priestley, anytime he stars in something, he has to be executive producer. Same with the last seasons of 90210. But he plays like the most incestuous pervert you've ever read about in any story. And Jason Priestley ruined the series for me. It's unforgivable. I will never look at Brandon Walsh the same ever again because this series and the red hair has scarred me so deeply. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
His doing was legal, from serving people drinks to then becoming the game runner and operator, and then ultimately in her role as the bank. She wasn't breaking any laws. Her income was solely based on the hefty tips players gave her, and she paid taxes on that income.
There we go. Okay. Wonder what we're going to talk about next. All right. So this next
I love the pompous grin in a prison. What is it? Why can't I?
This is a driver's license photo.
Oh, it's a driver's license?
Yeah, this isn't a mugshot.
It's not a mugshot.
Nope. I am pulling up an article I'm going to get to later, so bear with me. All right, so this is a Crazy Days and Nights clip I have mixed feelings about NT lawyer. He
Me too.
obviously has such an axe to grind with Johnny Depp that I'm going to say this, the following is alleged. The only true part of this, maybe, is Anthony Fox is missing. But he gets in, I included this because he breaks this story down probably the best I've heard of anybody doing it. So you can hear, obviously, he's biased a bit as to who could be responsible for this. But I
He's
figure
got the
it's worth
passive aggressive monotone growl.
Yeah.
You know,
This is, I think, in our first episode. I had a warning about how boring this guy was. Yeah. Okay. So it starts off, it kind of fades in, but he's talking about how Depp is spending money at the time, mid 90s to late 90s, spending money when he really doesn't have the money to spend. And that's where the story starts. Okay.
Before you start there, that's fascinating because, like I've said, I'm not understanding. I know his career backward and forward. I'm not understanding what Depp's so wealthy from at that particular moment in time.
Yep.
When we're talking 93, he had basically done Scissorhands, and I think he burned through all that Jump Street money. He's a very generous guy who's not afraid to spend money. I can't see him having some crazy nest egg, and I don't know. He never made a huge payday up until that point. So I don't know what the hell.
Well, he's making lots of money off those $15 beers at the Viper Room. Okay. Here we go.
So imagine those same spending habits, but with a fraction of the money coming in. He was already
Again, if you want me to pause, just tell me.
Spending more than he was taking in. But at least, later on in life, he had a ton of money banked. Back during this time period, he really didn't.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. And this is lengthy, but it's
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's dirt, and people never heard. It's
yeah.
And again, this is like done from a Patreon, right? Or
yeah. Mm-hmm. I paid for this episode.
No one heard this.
Yeah.
What to do? He found some silent partners to invest with him and use their money. He used to get the money. He kind of put up some of his Viper Room percentages as a kind of collateral, but it wasn't very long before he burned through their money. And that brings us to the one blind item that we are going to read today. And I wrote it on
Sierra?
July 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Sierra?
It's
now, keep in mind, with a lot of these things, too, when we talk about, like, big rumors and stuff. Now, you can get sued if you're speaking out of school. So a lot of these, and this guy's a lawyer, so a lot of these people are in, cover your ass mode when they spit this gossip. So some of this could very well be true.
Absolutely. In particular with the alleged entities he went into a partnership with.
Right. That's all confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets the names right.
And 15. And I revealed it in January 2016. It's not often an A-plus list mostly movie actor gets away with murder. It's even more rare that it happened in a time that is not old Hollywood. It did happen back in the day. The actor in question in this blind is still really close to A-plus list. The actor was stealing from his business partner. Our actor was not the money-making machine he is now and was using a lot of drugs and couldn't pay. He also had some other issues. He got in over his head, and when the silent business partners came looking for their share of the profits, our actor pointed the finger at the other partner as to why there was no money to pay the silent partners. The guy got killed, and our actor quickly got out of sight and stayed out of sight for about a year. So, when I ran that back in July of 2015, it seemed like the entire world just then jumped on it. I mean, because this is just, especially after I revealed it, and they totally felt safe. It's like the entire world said, oh my goodness. And I remember there was, I think a radar jumped on it maybe 8 or 9 months after I revealed it.
Okay, come on, get to it.
Wrote it. And then I think.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but stop. Some people just are not meant to be on audio or do a podcast and speaking in any which in an entertainment type fashion. Get somebody to bounce off in there. Just I don't know, do a few lines. Turbocharge yourself.
I know.
Amplify yourself. His voice like trails off as he's supposed to hit a revealing punchline, and it's like, just do you not hear yourself? Do you want to be engaging? Good Lord, get a pulse. What the fuck? Some people just better with the written word than
yeah. Well, that
being
me included.
heard.
That's why I have you here.
No, he makes you sound like Courtney Love.
Oh, good.
With your demure, what did Fudsicle call you? Low register.
Yes, exactly.
Which is not an insult.
I'll take it.
It was just
I'll take it.
It's no. It's you just have that you're just not a Long Island blowhard.
I am my father's daughter, so I'll take it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope. You ready?
I think it was Jezebel went after Radar and said, "How are we supposed to believe any of this? But if you go on the internet." I mean, there's actual law to back it up, and there's an actual case, and it's pretty obvious what happened. The issue is that nobody can actually prove it, and obviously, it's tough when you don't have a body. The thing is that because I'll tell you about when it all happened and everything. But by the time I wrote about it in 2015 and then revealed it in 2016, which made everybody kind of just like really go crazy for it.
Sarah,
mm-hmm.
If you're such a philanthropist, you're such a humanitarian, and you have this, you're sitting on the death of someone, why are you waiting till 2015 to let us know? You trying to monetize it? If you want to get justice for this guy, do it when you knew about it. Drop it when you knew about it. Go to the authorities. What are you waiting on that? Why 2015? He's so pained with everything. He sounds like a subdued Dr. Drew.
Well, he's got
Dr.
the chuckle.
Subdued.
The chuckles in there as he pats himself on the back with.
And I'm not even that. Maybe there's a lot of truth to this.
Yeah.
But Jesus, why are you waiting till 2015?
I know.
If you're so worried about this guy's disappearance.
You have a young girl whose father is missing.
Right.
I wonder what her opinion of him waiting and holding on to this story would be.
Thing is, it was kind of.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was going to say, to tie it into Depp selling his share of the place to Anthony Fox's daughter as a way to shut her up or hush.
Yep.
Too late, because Disney had already shut everything down. A decade earlier, and they signed anybody who knew anything to an NDA. The people that actually knew all the details. So then, the next thing you know is that it's really hard to find any information. But it's there, and people are starting to put it together and piece it together. But every time they go and they try and put it on a website, what happens is that website invariably gets taken down. And who does it get taken down by? The Mouse House.
Oh, God.
But, as I'll say later, I think that might be about to change, which is a good thing. All right. So
Sarah, stop. So he's implying that Depp's affiliation as almost like the new
Disney.
face of Captain Jack Sparrow became like the new Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
And that's somehow Disney's shutting down any kind of rumors that they're connecting him with this death, that he's involved in some kind of hitman thing on the side of the road with some mob ties perhaps to the Viper Room, and that his recent falling out with Disney, Pirates 5 somewhat bombing, and Disney not signing him to the next Pirates movie, and him having virtually no affiliation with modern day Disney now, is going to green light this potential murder allegation, and that there's no statute of limitations on this being released. Now, game on. for the Anthony Fox. We're going to reopen the Anthony Fox murder, and Depp's going to be proven to be complicit to it and part of it and implicated. And
Well, yeah.
Here's how it happened.
But he's not naming names, so he's just like giving
No.
you a lot of nebulous.
The issue here too is
Sedan speak.
he's going to get into it, but the issue here too is there are 100 other suspects, so you can't narrow this down to just Johnny Depp. So
Right.
he'll get into it.
As far as anybody can tell, piece together, as far as I know from my tips, basically, when Johnny Depp opened the Viper Room in 1993, he did so with a man named Anthony Fox. Now, they went in 50-50. Then in about late 1999, at the beginning of 2000, Fox brought a suit against Johnny and 4 other people for stealing millions of dollars in profits from the club. These are those silent partners. Now, we're talking millions and millions of dollars. We're not talking like 20 grand that somebody embezzled. We're talking multi-millions.
Sarah?
Yep.
Okay, now look at the timeline of this, right? So 1999, he does Sleepy Hollow with Tim Burton. One of the better Tim Burton movies, I think, underrated. He's great in it as Ichabod Crane. So he becomes a certifiable. This is the first movie he does that does 9 figures. Sleepy Hollow made $100 million in the States, which is the first time that had happened. So he becomes a movie star, a certifiable, bankable movie star, probably around that time. Also, the internet is not really developed. It's 99. There's an internet, but it's not like everyone's on all the time. Everyone has wireless. It's sort of, so any rumor isn't going to really run wild at that time like it would now. So him that he said that had been alleged in 99. So that it's not going to have legs because it could get killed for several reasons. But the time it came out, it's not going to have several sources picking up on it because the internet's not really developed.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not a trivial sum. Johnny and his silent partners had been basically taking it all from themselves. I mean, every single last penny. They had no intention of sharing. Johnny, because he had spent all his money, and the others because they were the kind of guys who, don't do give-backs, to say the least. They were members of the mafia. Not pretend members or associated or friends of or, hey, I knew one once. They were the straight-up mafia. They were the mob. And the club itself, it traced its roots to the 1940s. Back then, it was called the Melody Room, and it was owned by Bugsy Siegel, a member of the mob. And basically, the Melody Room, just throughout its own history, became kind of like where the mob would come when they were in L.A., and it became a place where drug dealers knew they could feel safe and hide. And it's always still, to this day, kind of had that reputation. Now, at some point, the Melody Room became the Central. And then the Central was sucking. I mean, really badly. Until one day, here comes this big movie star named Johnny Depp to save the day.
He wanted to hear Cab Calloway, so he opened up a club.
But
and by the way, was not a movie star yet.
Exactly.
He had done Edward Scissorhands, Cry Baby, Benny and June, and Arizona Dream as far as starring in a film. So I wouldn't really call him a full-fledged movie star quite yet.
Yep.
No, and how did Johnny just come to save the day? Well, again, there is talk that he came to save the day at the request of the mafia because they kind of wanted back in to this place, and they knew the Central wasn't doing that great. But what the Central did have going for it was a liquor license. And if they kept Anthony Fox on as a partner, then they could also keep the liquor license in place, and they wouldn't have to go through any hearings or anything like that. So that was crucially important. So in about 1993, the Viper Room opened. It went from the Central to the Viper Room. Now, throughout this, let's go back to the lawsuit. So we're in, 1999, 2000, and it's progressing. He files it in 2000, and it's slow. The wheels of justice move slow. But throughout this litigation process, there had been a lot of death threats. And they were all aimed towards Fox and his family. I mean, nobody was throwing them towards Johnny because he was one of the ones being sued. The silent partners were being sued. And basically the idea was to try and get Fox to drop it. Just, here, we'll give you some money and go away. And when you say no, then they would say, well, you better watch out for your family. Well, no matter what, and through everything, he kept going. Everyone participating on the defense knew that they had been robbing Fox and that Fox would win, and that they had been just basically robbing him blind. Johnny had just got into bed with some very shady characters.
I wonder what the total amount was that he was owed.
I know. I want to know too. We're never gonna. Wonder if there's any way to look that up.
Cocaine is
I haven't
expensive.
seen it in the stuff I've tried to find.
Yeah.
It's such. So he's in. The mafia is now threatening Anthony Fox's family, and somehow Depp has some kind of Whitey Bulger immunity of some kind. It's almost like if you're the mafia, you're like, well, if you go after Depp, if you knock off Depp, it's like the real Donnie Brasco, Joe Pistone, doesn't he have like a $500,000 hit on his head?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't get the real Donnie Brasco, get the guy who played him in the movie.
Yeah.
Is that half the fee or something?
Mm-hmm. Well, nobody's going to pay attention when the unknown silent partner, Anthony Fox, goes missing. Johnny Depp goes missing. Absolutely. That's headlines everywhere.
Yep.
And the people are going to ask, well, who got rid of him? And then
the mafia knows that.
Exactly. So, okay.
It kind of reminds me of Sopranos when they go in on the outdoor store and they basically just are ordering stuff to order stuff and then selling it, on the back of pickup trucks until there's just nothing to sell. It's kind of similar to that. They were just taking out all the money and not leaving any for anybody else. And it takes a brave guy to go up against the mob.
Rudy
so then
Giuliani.
On December 19th.
Oh, what'd you say? Sorry.
Rudy Giuliani, Donnie Brasco, Joe Pistone.
That's who
to go against the mob. Yeah.
That's who they needed to get in there was Rudy G.
2001, which was, I think the trial was set to start in January. Anthony Fox was last seen in Ventura, California, getting into his truck with his briefcase.
Sarah,
Mm-hmm.
Is he doing this from like the Library of Congress? Speak the fuck up. His voice just gets softer and softer.
I have
with every
the volume
word.
hiked.
Oh, I know you have it cranked, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Honestly, I would love to see this operation. Is he doing it from the library?
Whoever's listening to us, this is probably when they've dozed off, so it doesn't really matter.
I know. That's you got to worry. Like people literally get this soporific fall the fuck to sleep. And he's saying really interesting dirt, and he can't punch it up. It's unbelievable. It doesn't take much. Mm-hmm. Holy shit! Get some energy.
This is all from a 3-part, I don't know what I'm going to say, podcast he did on Johnny Depp,
which was on Patreon.
Yeah.
Which we downloaded and made sure we had for keep safe, because who knows? I mean, that could disappear.
Yeah, exactly.
Disney could have that go away.
Yeah.
And inside his briefcase, he always carried a .38 caliber revolver. Well, that night, Mr. Fox didn't come home. And he didn't come home the next night either. On January 6th, 2002.
Insurrection.
Uh-oh.
His truck was found several hundred miles to the north in Santa Clara, California. It's kind of up by the Bay Area, and Ventura is a little bit north of Los.
Was that the real reason for the insurrection? Was in memory of Anthony Fox?
The Fox-surrection, they call it.
Poor guy. You got to feel bad for this guy.
We're
doing the right thing.
We're gonna take over the Capitol for the redemption for Anthony Fox, a good friend of mine and a great guy.
Yeah.
By the way, Depp's Trump movie, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love
it. Great job.
The art. I love the reenactment of the late 80s and the way the film looked. It's such a cartoony, good time. It's 55 minutes or something.
Yeah, we'll have to go through that.
I know.
I love it.
A lot of people don't know it. Even like super fans of his don't even know it exists because it came out so oddly.
Of course, because he doesn't look cute in it.
Art of the deal.
Yeah.
He didn't promote it either.
All right, I'm gonna start this back up.
Los Angeles. And one of the reasons I think everybody would maybe think, oh, well, he's just a guy. He's scared of the mob. He's going to leave. He's going to run. You know, why deal with it? The death threats are getting too much. But the thing is, he was a single parent. He was a single dad to a teenage daughter who he just was devoted to, doted on, everything. She was his world. So nobody believed for a second that he would just abandon her. It wasn't how he operated. That just wasn't his thing. Now, the police, when they found the pickup truck, they also found his briefcase. But what they didn't find in the briefcase was his gun. That was still missing. Untouched to this day was a bank account that had a balance of several $1,000s. So obviously, he had a little bit of money. Where did he go? I mean, it's pretty obvious that he was killed. If I didn't throw in Johnny Depp's name or anything on this, and I just gave you the situation, two business partners, one is stealing from the other. So the business partner sues the one who's stealing. The business partner who is suing is then threatened by the mob with his life. The person suing then ends up getting disappeared, leaving behind his teenage daughter, never to be seen again.
Sarah, you know what? Mm-hmm. You know what I want to do? Dig a little deeper. The Tracy Jacobs transcripts with his management team that he sued for squandering a lot of his fortune, $600 million fortune. I wonder if the Viper Room finances come up at any point through these guys.
I would think so.
The business managers hit back with a bunch of stuff he squandered supposedly, and I have not seen the figures.
Well, Sal Janko
Sal Janko comes up as he comes up as someone who stole as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not. Does NT lump Sal Janko in with Depp here? Does he bring him up at all?
I don't believe so.
I don't remember. I've listened to this a few years ago, but not particularly focused on what we were doing now, not knowing that. So now with a different set of ears, listening to this, I just cannot recall if Sal Janko, but I want to know these Viper Room figures, and if during their lawsuits with the business managers brought this up, because they went all the way back.
Yeah.
And at one point, did I ever show you the flow chart of they have his salaries and his residuals?
Yeah, you did show me.
That's crazy. It is crazy.
We could spend an hour on that.
They don't want you to, I mean, this is Hollywood's biggest nightmare. Somebody in Hollywood, especially someone like Howard, showing you all their finances, detailed line by line, residuals they got from fucking Benny and June on the USA Network.
Yeah.
It is crazy. So, but it only spanned about a decade, right? Like,
yeah, interesting amounts too, which kind of threw me off. Like
that's a show for us.
Like absolutely, I want to do that early next
Nobody
year.
does
Maybe.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. But the movies you think would be bigger amounts aren't.
From like mailbox money, you talking about residuals?
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody always acts like, oh, I survive on my blah blah blah, and he has back end. He made deals with the film to get a percentage, producer's percentage or whatever. So he's getting the maximum that an actor's going to get as far as residuals go from a movie, and it wasn't that big a deal in a lot of ways.
No. All right, I promise you, stick with this. It's interesting.
He's dead. Now, I don't think anybody doubts that.
I have an article to read. It's like a paragraph from an article I found. The National Enquirer did an interview with Anthony Fox's ex-wife or wife.
Wow.
And she has a theory, and there's a reason why, according to her, there's no body. Okay, here we go.
I didn't see this. When did you get this?
I found it somewhere. If I didn't send
Look
it
at
to you,
you sleuthing around with Mike Walker, the body, the spirit of Mike Walker, the ghost of Mike Walker.
Yeah, I don't do what Mike Walker does.
Can I tell you my favorite Anthony Fox story real briefly?
No. Excuse me. Okay, let's get through this, and then we can get to the River Phoenix.
I mean, no body's been ever found, but it's clear he didn't abandon the daughter he was devoted to. He didn't owe any money to anybody. I mean, that's always a good motive if you owe $1 million to somebody. But the thing is, he didn't owe any money to anybody, and he was about to get millions and millions of dollars when he won this lawsuit. There was literally no incentive for him to go anywhere.
True.
All he had to do was stick it out a few more weeks, and he was going to get these millions.
Yep. I wonder how many. I would love to know.
We're going to find that out.
The only people who had the motive to kill him are the partners and Johnny Depp. It's also remarkable.
I should have cut out the pauses.
It's very Epstein too, right?
Yeah.
The way he just conveniently dies, and Clinton and Trump and Prince Andrew.
Yes.
Okay. Can't get like they don't have the key witness to blow the cover off what they were on the Epstein. Was it Air Epstein they call it?
Lolita Express.
Okay, Lolita Express.
Lovely name for a plane.
It kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, where you're engaging in activities that, okay.
Weak Mr. Fox presumably got killed during a horror kind of field trip up the 101 that Johnny Depp decided to bail on Hollywood. He decided it was finally time to be with Vanessa full time. Isn't this remarkable? That all this other time, he decided that he was going to be in L.A., cheat on her all the time, do what he had to do.
Give me some names. I need to know.
Roman Polanski.
Oh, yeah, Buddy in France.
That's how we met. That's supposedly how we met Vanessa, and that's the movie The Ninth Gate they do right around that same time. And his affiliation with Polanski ain't doing him any favors come May.
What year was the daughter born, Lily Rose?
99.
Okay.
But then all of a sudden when you get this...
Or 2000 or 99. Yeah, 99 or 2000.
Okay.
This case. When all of a sudden you know that the police are kind of going to be sniffing around about your business partner who's suing you, then all of a sudden Johnny decides that he wants to go live in France. So
come on, dude.
He could have done that at any time. He could have done it in October, November.
Who is he cheating with?
That's why I want to know the names.
I know.
Stewardess. I don't know.
We got that. Remember that list from the UK trial?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Amber? Was it the succubus rattling off the list, or was it her lawyer?
Mrs.
Wass.
I don't know.
Sasha Wass.
At some point, she demanded a list of every actress he had been in a movie with. And
when they kept throwing the Southern gentleman phrase in his face over and over again.
Yeah, and that
he loves to use, and they rattled off a list of. It's almost like anyone he's worked with.
Mm-hmm.
He's had an affair with is essentially what that list implies.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like literally right down to like Holly Robinson, Christina Ricci,
Mm-hmm.
Penelope Cruz.
He talks
Just
about
on and on.
Christina Ricci. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's in this clip, but he talks about Depp's relationship with Ricci.
Oh, that's in here?
Yeah, I don't know. It's in the podcast. I don't know if it's in this clip.
I think they've been in 3 movies together.
I thought this was long enough. So if I cut out Ricci, there was a reason.
They were in Sleepy Hollow, Fear and Loathing, and the fucking, oh God, it's the one I always forget.
If only
with John Turturro and.
If only he'd stuck with Ricci in the Thompson stuff instead of venturing out to the blonde succubus, over-tanned blonde succubus in the Rum Diaries.
Guess is that he probably would have waited until after the trial that was set, but no, he doesn't wait till after when the trial was set. He decides to go the same week that Fox disappears.
This
is
also
the biggest coincidence.
Fox disappeared a month or 2 months after Johnny Depp did that interview with Howard Stern for From Hell, right?
2000. That interview, I'll tell you exactly when that is.
October 2001.
October 2001. Yes.
Yeah, Fox disappeared December 19th of 2001.
I was thinking that too when you showed me. I'm like, that's dangerous. And then Howard asked him about the Viper Room.
Mm-hmm.
They spent a little time. Remember, Stuttering John came in and said they spent a little time on the Viper Room. So I wonder if that was really uncomfortable for him, that he would have to expound further on the Viper Room, because they didn't harp on it. But it was touched on like 4 times.
By this time, that trial or the judgment was just down the road, apparently, or the trial was just. I know
it's dangerously close to that time. You saw. Good catch by you, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Whole world. What made him decide to go that week? He had never mentioned previously that he wanted to go there, to Paris. Now, do I think Johnny Depp murdered Anthony Fox? No.
Okay,
I don't think he actually pulled the trigger. But at the same time, I don't think he is as innocent as he would maybe like us to believe. I think he knows a lot and he isn't telling. Like I said, nobody had a motive to kill him except for Johnny Depp and his partners, period. Here's where, again, I've had enough with like reporters and stuff. How many times?
Not a big deal. The Man Who Cried. It just hit me. That's the movie he did. Actually, it's right around this time. 2000 is when it came out. So he's literally filming it in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the first thing he did after Sleepy Hollow, I guess. And it just, I don't even think it came out in the States. I don't remember it ever coming out in the theater. Christina Ricci's in it, Cate Blanchett, John Turturro. Good cast, but it's kind of a bore.
Okay.
Not my favorite.
2001, and then, finding him in 2000.
The rest of this, he just talks about kind of how he's frustrated with the media not asking direct questions.
Okay.
So do you want to finish it? You want to skip to River Phoenix?
Just play about another minute of it and see if there's anything juicy.
All right.
Early 2002. How many interviews has Johnny Depp given since 2002? 1 million. And how many people that I can find have asked him about Anthony Fox in his trial? 0. Nobody's asked him.
And you really think his publicist and agent
exactly
let the fucking interviewer? He doesn't get submitted questions beforehand.
Did you
Howard,
kill this guy?
at the time, was the only one that would have the balls to ask that question.
Yeah. Speaking of,
and that's 01 Howard, not today. He would never do that today, but back then he would.
Speaking of From Hell, did you kill this guy? Who's going to ask that and expect to keep their job?
What was your inspiration for Edward Scissorhands? Because I heard you based it on a dog. And do you like working with Tim Burton? Oh, by the way, did you kill that guy Anthony Fox? Because I heard that you did. It's like so.
Yeah, you're going to do any more movies with Tim Burton, and you can depict the death of Anthony Fox in only the gothic way that Tim Burton can do it.
I heard you're an accessory. You make a great accessory. You're wearing a lot of accessories, scarves and skull rings. And are you an accessory to murder too?
Yeah. Oh God.
About River Phoenix sometimes, and it's just the woe is me. Like, I can't believe people would blame me for something like that. And you know what? They never do the follow-up question. Well, why did you drag him out to the sidewalk and then just sit there and watch him die?
According to witnesses, that didn't happen.
Well,
There's a lot of mixed things on that. That is such a. It's like we're doing one of these murder podcasts that you and your broads are obsessed with.
I can't stand
that's like
true crime.
They say that's the biggest genre of podcasts or something. Broads and the murder podcasts.
The last time I cared about true crime was the Golden State Killer. And
yeah, that's
after that. No, I don't care. Whatever.
That's what this almost feels like, though. Like we're going down some kind of.
Yeah, I live in a neighborhood where I could probably star in a true crime podcast. So they had a big drug bust across the way the other day or yesterday. So hey, I got to see Salem police in action. All right, let's go.
Call 911. Nobody ever asked the follow-up. And it's very rare that anybody even asks them about the River Phoenix. Who, by the way, I don't know when you're listening to this, but Halloween, is the 25th anniversary of the River Phoenix. So I think it's a good time to be talking about it.
All right, do you want to skip to River Phoenix since he just?
Well, that's a pretty good segue, right? I didn't even know he was about to.
Let me get to River Phoenix. Fast forwarding.
Acted it.
Oops.
So I think
this is longer than I thought.
Really, really want to.
Well, isn't he going into River Phoenix here?
No, he doesn't. He just keeps talking about what's wrong with the media.
I hope that they do that. People is the murderer.
Oh God.
6 years old.
Okay, so I'm going to read real quick here. Oops. I just spoiled it.
So maybe,
okay, real quick, the National Enquirer article. I'm going to pull this up. And I don't have it on the screen. Maybe I will put it on the screen by the time I get this posted to YouTube. The National Enquirer, they always had great headlines, especially back in the day when I'd read them at my grandmother's house. The headline of this is, Pirate Johnny gets dead man off his chest. How tacky.
It's classic Mike Walker. Classic Mike Walker.
How tacky is this headline?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the New York Post is good at that too. It's very funny. It's so corny sometimes that it's over the top funny. It goes over the line of hacky corn.
I'm going to read a paragraph or two. That's probably all my voice can take. Okay, so Anthony disappeared on December 19th, 2001, and suspicions of murder heightened when his car was found abandoned 3 weeks later. But Baresi spoke with Judith McBain, who was married to Anthony for 10 years, and said she saw him in a Los Angeles bookstore 6 months after he seemingly vanished. Her quote, "He had a very distinct mannerism and look about him. Unmistakable physical characteristics. Nobody looked like Tony," she said. Judith also recounted how Anthony had pulled the same trick in 1995. She asked him allegedly, "Why did you disappear on me?" She said she demanded of her ex when she traced him to Newhall, California. He says, "Because I wanted to get rid of you," he told her. And Baresi is now assisting Ventura police detectives in their cold case fox hunt. So, if that's true, maybe that's why nobody's ever been arrested for this. Maybe it's considered he just took off. I don't know, but again, why would he? He's got the daughter. He's got millions of dollars coming toward him. Ugh, who knows?
Did he have enough money for an identity change and the whole thing and go far enough away where... But they have the body, right? I mean, he was found...
No, they never found the
truck
body.
is pulled. The body's just gone.
Yeah, no body, just
so
the truck.
He's taken out of this thing and taken away and an identity.
The gun and the truck. No, him and the gun are missing. The truck was found.
Missing.
I don't know if he suffered from depression and he took off into the woods. I don't know. If he was murdered, I tend to go with these silent partners.
Could you stage a disappearance?
I think, yeah, any side could stage somebody's disappearance. He could have staged his disappearance, and they could have staged his
people, they get together and they stage a disappearance. Where, your car will pull over and you'll just be missing and it'll be inexplicable, and leave the gun there and we'll set you up in one of my French villa by Roman Polanski and whatever
nowadays
private island.
I doubt nothing. So
What do you think? What do you think happened? Do you think he's
I
dead?
think he's dead. I think it's more of a mob hit because they were being sued just as much as Johnny Depp was being
That's the
sued.
way the mob works. I mean, that's the
You
MO.
vanish. You vanish.
You vanish.
If you're not found, in the trunk of your car within a month, you're gone.
Yep.
He could be under what Giant Stadium? What do you call that? Where
Yeah.
Hoffa. Okay.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Whatever. Right. All right, you New Yorkers. Oh, New Jerseyers.
No, New Jersey. The Giants and the Jets do not play in New York. They play in New Jersey.
I
The
know,
Buffalo Bills are the only New York team.
Yeah. All right, let's get to River Phoenix. So I think everybody's familiar with
Johnny Depp.
the basics of the River Phoenix story. It goes back and forth between who's responsible. Some say Johnny Depp drug him out to the sidewalk and stood over as he died. Others say John, I never say this name right, Frusciante, who was a guitarist in the Red Hot Chili Peppers before he fell hard into drugs and was kicked out of the band, gave him a speedball and I guess that's the heroin already included, but it gave him a speedball.
It's like a cocktail of various drugs.
Yeah. The comments on a YouTube video, I'll pull those up real quick because I took a screenshot of it.
And I should say, before the club just opened.
Yeah, I know.
So it had been open for 2 months or something, and this happens 2 or 3 months into this, and it's already out of control. Fucking velvet rope celebrity fest, as Adam Duritz said. It's the best promotion was this death for the club. It completely put it on the map to be this backward cool factor. River Phoenix died right here, man. I'm going to that place.
Imagine
and you can't get in.
Imagine the chemicals that were being passed around in that, especially the early days. Until
the early
this.
days.
And
when he thought it was underground.
After this, people were paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. All right.
But could you open in a place and there's a death at the place 2 months into it opening?
Yeah.
It had to terrify him.
There's a video of Frusciante doing a little drug-induced speaking at the Viper Room a couple years after River's death. I put that in later in the video. But in the video,
think about this though. The Depp's career. Okay, this is what. There's none of this if it doesn't have a career. There's no club. None of this happens. His career is about to explode. He's coming off. He just did Ed Wood, and he's starting to enter that '90s cool factor phase where he is that. And he's doing one cool independent film after the next, or small film. His career and his agents and Tracy Jacobs and his manager, they know he's about to explode as a major star. And to have this attached, What's Eating Gilbert Grape came out right after this, or at the same time, to have this attached to him could destroy his career if he's implicated in it any way.
Yeah.
And this is a burgeoning movie star.
So comments on this video I posted later on, I think it's at the very end. One comment says, can somebody tell me how he, at least John Frusciante, didn't get jailed for this? Whether he made the drink or not, he still gave River the drink. That's the speedball. How was he not in trouble or put in jail for this if so many people saw him do this? Because of no proof? Because they swept it under the rug? That's fucked up. The response to that, I thought this was interesting, says John hid from the public after River's death in fear that he might get in trouble for what he did. Johnny Depp took care of it and told John not to worry. On top of that, River's mom called off the investigation, not to mention the fact that her lawyer was John Frusciante's lawyer as well. They basically abandoned him to lies. So, I don't know.
But then you have, we haven't gotten into the part. Joaquin Phoenix calls 911.
Yeah,
he's underage.
That's in here too.
Yep.
And he's down the block. He's 2 storefronts away from where his brother's laying on the sidewalk.
Could you imagine if this happened in modern day, how much it should be analyzed right now?
Yeah. Well, he's on the phone with the biggest asshole ever from 911. So with that, I'll play that too. This is a quick tour. Some guy is working with a comedian whose name escapes me. I know him. I just can't think of his name.
Wait, where is this?
The Viper Room. But he's going to give a tour of the inside of the Viper Room and talk a little bit about. His friend who was there the night River Phoenix died and what the scene was. All right.
Out the same doors that River Phoenix came out. Well, as soon as you walk in, the stage is right here. The bar is right here. And directly across where you see the mirrors, that at one time was a dressing room / DJ booth, and as I was described, it used to be Johnny Depp's hangout room, his VIP area.
Hang the plaque up there,
So imagine that night, 1993, October 30th, and this place is packed. And according to my friend, this is what he said. He said he was supposed to perform here that night. He said, I was going to perform with Gilby Clarke. He said Gilby was still pretty hot from being in Guns N' Roses, and we were going to be performing Surrender by Cheap Trick, and we were going to do Helter Skelter. And he said basically that night, Gibby Haynes from the Butthole Surfers was performing here. And
yeah, I don't know.
What's eating Gilby Clarke? What's eating Gibby Haynes?
Oh, jeez. Mama.
Just weird names.
Yeah, wasn't her name Mama?
Over and over.
They called her Mama, didn't they?
Who called who Mama?
The mother in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh, yeah. That Darlene Cates is the actress.
Okay. You're my encyclopedia.
Flea was in that band, and Johnny Depp was also playing. It was basically a big hangout jam night, and they just kept waiting and waiting downstairs for the guys to finish on stage. And Stefan said, we were supposed to go on next, and we were basically going to be like the jam part of the band. Like, we were going to play well-known hits, and people were going to hop up and jam, and River Phoenix was going to be somebody who got up and jammed with us. And he said, I had been waiting all night, and they just kept talking on stage, and I just got the feeling, he said, I wasn't feeling well, and I just kept thinking that I should, and actually this is from that night. He said, I just kept thinking, you can see that's Gibby Haynes right there, there's Johnny Depp, Iggy Pop. This place was packed. He said, I worked my way through to get to the bathrooms because I wanted to fix my hair. It had been so hot in here and muggy that my hair was kind of starting to fall. Even though they did and have renovated this since the episode happened, my friend Stefan said that when he was here, he came into this bathroom right here, and he said how it went. He said he actually went inside, and he said the window, the glass, he said he was working his way to get to the mirror. Now they've moved it, and they've put the mirror and the sink
bathroom.
I know.
That whole place?
Must be the men's room. I think on the other side was another door. Like,
how do you piss out a $16 Heineken?
I was going to ask that too. If this is remodeled, imagine what it looked like before. How grimy it was.
He has to have a private bathroom somewhere else in the bowels of the place.
He would never use this bathroom.
Well, you know what my move is in a place like this? I just piss outside. I would go in the back, find this whatever the little strip of woods, and there's no way I would wait online with the humanoids.
Your ass hanging out in the street light.
Yes.
You just walk up to River Phoenix and just start pissing. That's horrible.
Well, there's a back alley. Isn't there like a...
Yeah, there's a side entrance.
Yeah.
You just saw it. They just showed it. There's a second little tiny bar that you walk down the hall from the side entrance, and it takes you right to the little mini bar. So there's two bars in this little closet of a club.
Speaking of, I don't think they were frisking back. You know what? You've seen the immediate area, right? There's like there's this huge liquor store.
Yeah, it's like
I would be sneaking in flasks like a motherfucker.
That's small potatoes compared to what else.
The $18 Rusty Nail, highball. You screw that. I would get a flask of scotch and just drink, buy ice waters and just mix them all night to save myself $300.
And everything's here. But what he said that when he came in here that night, he said the whole place was packed, including the bathrooms. And he said, I just wanted to get my hair wet because we were going to perform, and I wanted to kind of, style it a little bit. And he said I had to force my way through this part over to here. And he said River Phoenix he didn't know it was River Phoenix at the time, but he said there was a guy with like 3 or 4 people around him, and he kept splashing water on his face. And he said he looked...
The mementos, I would be stealing toilet paper from there. Look, I get a roll of Viper Room 4-ply toilet paper.
Yeah. I have Amazon knocking on my door. I'm going to let this play for a second. I'll be right back.
Do you really?
Yes. It's Christmas
Oh my
present.
God.
Okay, be right back.
Jesus.
Looked like somebody that had just thrown up or was getting sick or overheated or something. And he said, I didn't realize it was River Phoenix at the time because he had black hair. And that is true. He had dyed his hair black. I believe it was for a movie that he was finishing. And so, yeah, Stefan said he saw him in here. And he said, I realized that nothing was going to happen on stage. They weren't going to finish up anytime soon. So he said, from the time that I left here, I went downstairs.
Okay, I'm back. Do you have any comments?
It's such a stark difference. I just had the vision of the bathroom because I would always visualize their bathroom. Always. I would always hear about, like, rows of urinals and at least 2 stalls. That is so not what I picture. I mean, that looks like, CBGB's in 1977 and all the shit on, like, some Seattle club that, Alice in Chains played at in 1989.
Yeah, this is the bathroom of the Crocodile Cafe, but the tile's green at that club. I mean, it's exactly the same.
Crocodile Cafe, what a reference.
Yes, anyway, I can't describe it. All right.
Told Gilby, hey, I'm just going to go home. And I actually went out the side. And I'll show you guys where that side exit was. And he said, by the time I had went downstairs, told Gilby I was leaving, I didn't feel good and I didn't think we were going to get a play, and had walked right down the hall, out the side, and up Larrabee, he said, by the time I got to the corner, River had already made his way through the club out the front door. And he said, I didn't know that was him, but there was a lot of commotion.
Did they talk while I was answering the door? Did they talk and show a picture of what he looked like at the time with the black hair?
Kind of. I don't know if that was him or somebody that they think looked like him with the black.
Well, he was doing a movie. Yeah, he was doing a movie with some black Caesar cut.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was.
So I kind of see why you wouldn't immediately recognize him.
Yes. Not very recognizable.
Yeah.
By the way, that bathroom, you think anyone's taking shits in that bathroom? Could you imagine 200 packed, all celebrities, and you got to drop a deuce?
I know, and nobody wants to leave. And you just if it's an emergency, you just got to let it flow.
There's no way you would have the peace of mind.
Maybe there's enough people in there that they're chatting about where they're going to get their next hit, the next band on stage, that you can make noise and nobody will hear. Just keep spraying. I would just be reaching back, doing like courtesy flushes constantly.
That's what I'm saying. The courtesy flush at the Viper. That's a great title of a book.
I don't go into
courtesy flushing.
I would hope everybody else does the same. I would not go near a bathroom like this without locking the door behind me immediately and testing the door. Oh, so gross. Okay.
I think more anorexic, bulimic, Paris Hiltons have thrown up in here more than anyone's taken, if not pissed in this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those people don't crap. That's true.
So he said this has been remodeled since then, and this wasn't red tile then. The sink, the mirrors, all that stuff. He said that would.
Yeah, it's been remodeled, so the tile's new, and it's not like any of these little stickers here are history. Like they were put up by Mick Jagger in the 70s. So this is all just, they went to some record store and got all these free stickers and put them on the wall to look cool.
All been over here, so yeah, this is the space. This is where that 23-year-old would have felt his life ending. Literally, he had drank a speedball, which is basically an upper and downer mixture, and he could feel his heart stopping. His heart was slowly shutting down in this room. He came out here and actually collapsed right out here, and Stefan said, cool. I came from this side door, and I'll walk us over and show us.
There's a liquor store.
Is that the liquor store?
That's right. Yeah, it's the sign. He just went past it.
Yeah, I always thought it was on the other side. No, you're right.
Like I said, the temptation to sneak in flasks from that, I would be doing that left and right.
You could easily do it then.
Oh God, yeah.
Actually walked out closer to the parking lot, out this door. this Viper room door right here. He said, I wasn't feeling well and I had a date, and I said, honey, let's get out of here. So we came out of here, and he said, as I walked up Larrabee, which is what we're on now, he said, to Sunset, he said, right when I got to the corner, we get right here, and my girl says, hey, look, somebody's...
Sam Tripoli is the comedian.
That's
My
right.
apologies, yeah.
Is he like a conspiracy theorist of some kind?
I want to say yes.
Is he one of those Rogan rotate, right?
Yeah, I think he's in that group.
The Rogan litany of
the LA group.
Right,
yeah.
that's right. That's speed dating 10 comedians. He's over and over again.
The Brendan Schaubs.
4 hours of conspiracy theories.
I didn't put this in, but the end of this guy's video, because it's basically a promotion for Sam Tripoli overall. But at the end, he shows Sam Tripoli doing a sound check, and they are some of the worst dad jokes you've ever heard. And
Let's talk about Tony Hinchcliffe's Comedy Store set for 3.5 hours.
Exactly. I'd rather hear that.
Passed out or something on the ground, and Stefan said, I said, oh, it's probably just a homeless junkie or something, let's get out of here. And he said it was actually during that 4 minutes before the ambulance came and arrived right up here, and the time that Joaquin would have made that phone call that we know. And so he said the next day I went to work, he said I worked at a stripper clothing store called Playmates, and a girl that I worked with said, did you hear that River Phoenix died at the Viper room last night? And Stefan said, oh my God, that's who I saw in the bathroom, and that's who I saw passed out front here.
Okay, so this is the 911 call. But I don't know why I didn't put this in, but he goes
How would you gauge River Phoenix's popularity at the time?
At the time, he was kind of venturing off into the independent movies. So I don't
My
know
Own Private Idaho.
Yeah. And
it was
whatever,
a weird... Was he a bankable star? Were people... Do you think people were seeing
remember
movies because
he was... Remember he had done... He was either mid-filming the Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, I remember.
Or he hadn't. Or
but he wasn't selling.
He
wasn't. I don't think people were seeing that because he played a young Indiana Jones like in the beginning. If I remember, I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He just weird. He had like his hair was like modern day, and I remember he had that like skater hair like fell in his face. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he had the blonde puffy pompadour.
Yeah, it would not go in
brown.
1905 or whatever year.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know why I didn't put it in, but there was a video. I must have left it out. I apologize. But
Joaquin's 19, so Joaquin's 4 years younger than he is.
Yeah, it's horrible. But
Joaquin's got a great career. Joaquin's career is phenomenal now. I mean, he
at the time.
At the time,
no. At the time, his name was Liberty.
Oh, okay.
And then changed it later to Joaquin. I know that also from my grandmother's National Enquirers, because that family was big news. Anyway, okay. Before I forget, they do show in the video, I didn't put it in, but he does walk up a little bit further down the street and show you where the phone booth where this call was made. I left it out. So, okay, so here's the 911 call. And guy's such an asshole he's talking to. I get you become jaded or you become numb to these kind of calls. You almost have to be to do this job. But,
you mean the operator?
I cringe.
Yeah, I always think that too. They're all jaded by now. You get them on the phone, and there's no bedside manner.
He kind of redeems himself by the end of it, but
okay. It's Frank a lot.
Okay, calm down a little bit. Okay, what's the address where you need it? It's Sunset and Larrabee. It's at the Viper Rooms. Okay, what's the address, sir? Do you know? What's the address?
Wow, that's Sarah.
Yeah.
That's very Joker voice, right? I mean, that's him half his life ago. And he sounds exactly like he does in the Joker movie.
Maybe he had to draw upon emotions from the past.
Wow. Unmistakably him, too. I mean, that is clearly
he's
Joaquin
such a kid
Phoenix.
Too.
Yep.
He's so young. Can you imagine?
Hey, sir, calm down a little bit, okay?
First of all, sir, calm down. No. Let him yell. But get the information.
The audacity to say, he doesn't really know what the situation is yet, but still, the audacity to, I guess that's part of like 101 training.
Like job,
first,
I guess,
tell him to calm down.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any information up at being hysterical. That's number one.
Yeah. I think there's a line coming up here that just, okay.
Sorry, it's my brother. Please come here. How old is he? He's 23. Calm down, okay? If you can't calm down, give the phone to somebody else.
Jeez, he's not that bad.
No, I hear every word and
In
understand
fact, he's
it.
keeping it together pretty nicely.
He's answering every. I didn't make this video, Betty's hearts, by the way. He's keeping it. He's answering every question. He's just his.
It's
voice
almost
is
like
great.
that. The operator had it in his mind. He was going to say that to him, no matter what he sounded like.
Yeah,
he could have sounded like the Sedan guy, and he would have been like, "Sir, you better calm down, or give the phone to somebody else." I'm trying my best to stay calm.
Horrible.
I can't speak any.
Oh, and he's got to yell because again, it's like 3 storefronts down the way from where his buddy's laying on the ground.
Busy street, probably
There's
prime traffic going by.
There's no cell phone except
I know.
phone.
The cell phone generation changes so much in everything.
Yeah.
And this is one of the ways that life is so different had smartphones existed.
Yep. All right.
So there's no one else around. Okay. I'm fine. I think he had volume or something. I don't know. Who's with him right now? My sister, the people. Okay, can you talk to her from where you are? She's trying to give him mouth to mouth. Sir, calm down. Tell her not to give him mouth to mouth. Don't give him mouth to mouth. You only give him mouth to mouth if he's not breathing. What's he doing? Just seems like he's sleeping right now? Yeah, it just looks like he's sleeping. Okay, that's very normal, okay? Yeah? That's very normal. Sometimes, in fact, sometimes they do actually go to sleep.
Oh, okay. This is John Frusciante. So, any comments?
I'm wondering, does that call go on longer?
No, that's all. That's all
they got.
That's all I could find.
So you're thinking details, and he starts name dropping. This is Johnny Depp's club, and it's the place, the Viper Room he opened. And there's none of that to give him. I mean, could you imagine being in that position?
Well, and 2, during all of this, Christina Applegate and I'm sure other people have wandered out onto the sidewalk.
I know everyone's
weeping.
there. Everyone.
Johnny Depp is apparently still on stage. There was that
and that story has changed a million times. Who's on stage, and is Depp there, and is he in the back? Oh no, he's not. They have changed that so many times I can't even focus on.
The guy, what's the guy's name? Bob Fox? Not Fox. No. The guy from Celebrity Rehab you're telling me about.
Okay. Well, yeah.
What's his name?
Forrest.
Yes.
I'm not sure what his music affiliation is, but he's just one of these roving LA musicians who knows everybody. And I remember, seeing this, and I remember watching, flipping around, Celebrity Rehab popped up, and I watched it in passing here and there. I was curious to see, and I definitely saw a few episodes. And this guy is not, so instantly I stop and I go, is that Johnny Depp? So I stop and say, it's just some guy who's taken Depp's accoutrements and the derby and the reading glasses and the hair at the time with secret window hair. And I'm going, and he had, the vest and every single kind of clothing apparatus Depp wears. And I thought it was, I actually would, multiple times I had to convince myself that wasn't Depp. So I'd stop and, oh no, it's him. As you got close to his face, you could see, and he had a
yeah, but he was there.
Kind of voice.
He was there that night, right?
He was there that night, which freaked me out because I didn't know that until we started doing this. I'm like, so now it all makes sense. Either he's trying to look like Depp, or Depp's trying to look like him.
Yeah, I would.
The outfits are too similar.
It's
it's not a coincidence. Every single thing he's wearing is something you would see Depp wearing, or vice versa. So I don't know, but it just freaked me out when I realized that was the same guy.
Okay, so what did he say about what happened that night? He said that. Remember, do you have
the article?
No, I don't. He said that Depp called him. He went to the hospital.
Okay, so Bob Forrest, who he's mentioned is on Celebrity. I'm not sure what his musician history is. And like I said, he could be one of these roving musicians that just is on the scene. He's played with this. He doesn't actually have, you know what I mean? You can't connect him to a band. So from this article here, he came out with a book, Bob Forrest did, about his time in LA and the rock scene and everything he's been through. And so he was a staple at the Viper Room. He's like a doppelganger the way he looks.
Oh, hold on. I apologize. I see a blurb here. He is the former Thelonious Monster frontman. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Like, again, you have to be like one of these LA rock nerds to know what that band is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's known as that, and also of course, celebrity rehab therapist Bob Forrest.
Right.
Okay.
Since Thursday marks the 20th anniversary of River Phoenix's death, of a grim day for Hollywood. Indeed, in his new memoir, Running with Monsters, Crown archetype available now, celebrity rehab star Bob Forrest, who chronicles his day as a drug addict and musician on the Hollywood scene in the book, recalls the night of Phoenix's death, writing that Phoenix felt he was suffering from an overdose in the moments before his collapse. In the book, Forrest recalls being at Johnny Depp's nightclub, the Viper Room, one of Forrest's haunts in those days, and the scene of Phoenix's collapse. Following a performance by the budding musician Phoenix himself and Red Hot Chili Peppers guitarist John Frusciante, a performance undone by the pair's excesses, Forrest recalls a gathering in an office at the Viper Room. Quote, somebody broke out the coke and passed it around. River was obviously wasted and was as unsteady as a boxer who had taken one too many headshots during a 15-round bout, Forrest recalls in the book. His complete lack of motor skills made me think he was drunk. Heroin will make users lean when they stand still, but you almost never see them stumble and fall. Forrest recalls Phoenix approaching him later that night during a performance by Depp and his band P, admitting that he might have been undergoing some kind of an overdose. Quote, they were always a fun band to watch, and tonight they played well. It was great fun until I felt a hand tap me on the shoulder and turned to see it was River himself, a whiter shade of pale, Forrest writes. Bob, I don't feel so good. Forrest recalls Phoenix telling him, I think I'm ODing. Forrest was doubtful that Phoenix was overdosing. Usually you just OD and that's it, Forrest observes in the books, but offered to get Phoenix home that moment. The actor declined, saying he felt better. So I tried to reassure him, I don't think it's an OD. You can stand and you can talk to me, so I don't think it's an OD, Forrest writes in the book. I still have this guilt. I dismissed his worries so casually. Shortly thereafter, a commotion erupted in the club, and Forrest rushed to the door to find Phoenix's girlfriend, American Psycho actress Samantha Mathis, screaming as her boyfriend convulsed on the sidewalk. Let me skip down to, okay. Yeah. He was alive because his arms and legs shook like he was having an epileptic fit, Forrest recalls in the book. Forrest admits in the book that his concern for Phoenix's well-being at the time was tempered by his own self-preservation. That's pretty honest of him. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not in cover your own ass mode. He's like, I mean, he's saying he's in cover your own ass mode at the time. It's a very honest admission.
If you watched him on Celebrity Rehab, he always seemed like a good guy, a good, honest guy.
Yeah, he's probably trying to make repentant. Right,
yeah,
he's trying to redeem
himself. He wasn't
himself.
there to be on camera. He was there to help these guys. He could, and they took to him because whatever band that was, they could relate to him. So they felt like he knew what they were really going through with the celebrity side of it.
Right.
If he's a celebrity. But, you know, that's the kind of guy you need when you're in rehab, I guess, is somebody you can relate to and understands what you're going through. So, all right, carry on. I'm sorry.
That's all right. As Forrest admits, being tempered by his own sense of self-preservation. As an addict who traveled in a circle of other drug users, Forrest writes that he was concerned that the publicity from the event could draw legal heat to himself and his peers. Mm-hmm. That point's harder to Enty's allegations.
Yeah.
I felt awful that River had collapsed. Now, I may have been a junkie, but I was human, and I had empathy and concern for my friend, Forrest writes. But I was also fearful that the rest of us could be hauled in for questioning. Wow, I mean, again, 2 months after this club had opened.
This is already happening. Yeah.
And it's got to be terrifying, Depp and Tracy Jacobs, that this huge career of his ahead could be stymied by all this. Mm-hmm. Later, Forrest and Butthole Surfers frontman Gibby Haynes, a bandmate of Depp in the band P, ventured to Cedars-Sinai Hospital to check on Phoenix's condition. So Depp didn't go. It just says Gibby Haynes went. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
It was 3:00 in the morning, Halloween morning. Hospitals are really spooky places to be at to begin with, but the day of Halloween and the stillness of the hour only compounded the unease, Forrest writes. I saw Samantha standing alone. She was crying. Forrest recalls in the book, I just knew by looking at her that River was dead. Let me see if it goes on.
Yeah, I think at the end somewhere in there is a blurb where Johnny calls him while he's at the hospital.
This could be a different.
Okay, you want me to just
Does it Gibby Haynes
paraphrase
just
it?
Do you have it in front of you?
No, I don't, but I read it.
Maybe I can find it. My effing tablet's so slow. It
I'll
just
say it.
putzing along.
I'll just give the paraphrase.
Okay.
So Depp calls him, but he's still at the hospital, waiting around, or Phoenix had just died, and Johnny Depp calls him, I guess through the hospital because no cell phone, but and he says, "Yeah, I'm sorry about your friend died." So Depp thought it was someone else that had died. He wasn't aware that it was River Phoenix. So Forrest tells Depp that no, it was River Phoenix, and he says, "Oh my," something to the effect of, "Oh my God, I can't believe it," and he hung up. So that goes against Depp being the one to push him out the door and watching as he,
Yeah, that sounds
shook
ridiculous.
all over the sidewalk. And he was on stage at the time, from all other accounts. So how would, and by the way, I haven't heard an account, if somebody did take him outside, it was a bodyguard, or not a bodyguard, but what do you call those? A bouncer.
Yeah, the bouncers are also typically can be ex-cops or current cops.
Yeah.
You wonder if they're tipping them off. Hey, do this, don't do this, don't do this. And, on his payroll, telling him you don't want to get implicated. And he's giving him advice how to almost steer clear of any culpability.
Yeah. Part of me thinks if he knew it was River Phoenix, do you think he would have gone to the hospital instead of just calling?
It's a great question. I don't know.
Because I think his response to that when he called Forrest was an honest one. I'm sorry your friend died. And Forrest says,
if it's River Phoenix, he goes to the hospital. If it's a civilian, I don't care as much.
Yeah, or he would have been more emotional on the phone.
Yeah, like it's more tragic because it's River Phoenix and not.
Because how I read it is, Forrest is the one that told him it was River Phoenix, and then he hung up because he didn't know what to say, so he hung up.
What was the other thing that something like one of the stories was River wanted to play with P.
Yeah, he wanted to get on stage.
And Flea shooed him away, and he was so distraught that he took a speedball because he was in such a tizzy that he needed to go on a speedball to get over this spurn.
I've also read that this was after he took that drink from Frusciante, which was the speedball, and Flea saw he was acting weird.
Yeah,
wouldn't let him up on stage because of that.
Okay, that's another theory.
So from what I gather, Frusciante and him went to the club together, and then that's where he was given the drink by Frusciante. So,
I think I found what you're talking about.
If you want to read it again, I may have missed something.
It's from this, yeah. So it says, Johnny Depp is known for his quirky personality and talented acting skills, including his notable role as Jackson. One of his business ventures in the early 90s, becoming part owner of the Viper Room, created a safe space for young celebrities and Hollywood elites to hang out at. While River Phoenix was a successful actor in the late 80s and early 90s, he still followed his passion for music. In the days leading up to Phoenix's tragic death, reports say that he was living with John Frusciante.
Yeah.
As the guitarist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Frusciante had temporarily left the group to pursue a solo career. Frusciante developed.
That's not exactly why. And in this clip I'm going to play in a second to end this, you can tell why he left the band. So anyway, go ahead.
Frusciante had developed a serious drug problem when the 23-year-old actor fell in with the musician. The two were doing large amounts of drugs and barely sleeping. Phoenix ended up dying from a drug overdose and caused Frusciante to play with a disastrous set that night. According to the RHCP Live Archive, the members recapped how terrible Frusciante's career was. Okay. Friend died. The first ever solo show he did that night. Frusciante said it was only like having a 1 minute long, and what I did, and he quickly left the stage and threw up on Gibby Haynes.
Yeah,
while Phoenix and Frusciante arrived at the Viper Room on Halloween night 93. No one suspected that it would be Phoenix's last time stepping on stage. Fellow bandmate Bob Forrest recapped the night of the tragic death in the Daily Mail. Forrest revealed that the band members had a pretty consistent drug routine before performing, consisting of, first, we would smoke crack or shoot coke directly into the vein for that 90-second electric brain bell jangle, then shoot heroin to get a grip and come down enough to be able to carry on a conversation for a few minutes before you start that cycle all over again.
What could go wrong?
The night Phoenix died, he recalled Frusciante and Phoenix stumbling into the Viper Room, and cocaine was almost immediately passed around among the group. The signs were there. The young Stand By Me actor was not doing well, but the band went on stage to perform. During the performance, Phoenix got Forrest's attention and said, man, I don't feel good. I think I'm ODing. After turning his back to the crowd, he collapsed. Moments later, Phoenix was seizing and taken outside to the club's sidewalk, where an ambulance rushed to the Cedars-Sinai Hospital. However, he was not able to be saved. While the Halloween Night 93 is one of the most talked about tragedies at the popular hangout, there have been others. Well, Johnny Depp and Sal Janko opened the club in 93. They quickly made it a must-visit location in West Hollywood, building it. The holds even historical significance to that area, according to the building. It has been home to several Depp and Janko open. The was noted becoming magnet for well-established up-and-coming artists. Tom Petty opened it, blah, blah, blah. Viper Room, The Strokes, Johnny Cash, the Pussycat Dolls. Depp sold a share of the club in 2004. Viper Room still hosts live rock bands today and has been filming several movies and TV shows, making it a must-visit spot for all tourists and residents. And the Molly Bloom stuff. Viper Room, significant poker game. Just looking for more on the. Okay, that's it in this.
Yeah, well, that's good enough. I'm pretty sure I hit everything on the Depp call for the most part. So let's play this John Frusciante thing, and then we will wrap it up. We got a question too.
Well, then email. We didn't even go. So the rumor was that Depp had Frusciante and Sal Janko. Well, the thing we read last time. Was the last time we read it? That they had a meeting at his house of how to escape culpability of this, and there was this whole elaborate thing had been planned.
Very little I could find on that meeting. So what we talked about already, that's pretty much it.
But you could imagine, surely, you're not just going home, hey, let's just close the place for the night. Like, let's pick it up and bye, River. But, I got this dream of having this club where Christina Applegate can listen to Cab Calloway. They had to have had some fucking powwow, extended powwow.
Oh, the team of lawyers came in.
Right. There's no way lawyer after lawyer wasn't involved in this. Well, you do not just go move on.
Yeah, that comment on this video I'm about to play, they had a meeting. Depp met with Frusciante and took care of it.
Okay.
So anyway, I don't even know why I included it, but it's just Frusciante going up on stage in 97 at the Viper Room. And he goes into this ramble about why he thinks River Phoenix really died.
By the way, can I just add before I forget, Depp, ironically, and I don't know if this is to try to save face or whatever they're trying to, directed an anti-drug short film Frusciante did called Stuff. We're going to have to go over that at some point. I don't know if you can find it.
We can make that part
easily
3.
accessible. I had it at one point. I was on an old hard drive.
I'll look for it again. We can make
it's
it
just kind of a mess.
Viper Room extended episode.
It's almost like an overly artsy. I don't know if Jim Jarmusch was involved, which is, but it's almost like a. I have to watch it with a 2021 set of eyes again. But I remember going, all right,
we'll make it
lives with this
part 2.5 or something.
Okay, we could do a 3 if you want.
Yeah, all right. Hopefully not another 2.5 hours. We've done 5 hours on the Viper when we're not even done with this episode. All right. I thought we'd do it like an hour each. So, okay.
No, of course not.
We'll play this and then we'll wrap it up. I'll read that question.
I don't hear the guitar loud enough, this acoustic guitar.
Can you hear the drugs?
Is that how he really sounds, or is he affected trying to sound tortured?
I don't know if he sounds like that today because apparently he's clean now. Or this is serious shit.
You sound, man.
Yeah. and get through this. This is very quick.
This was a problem in Night River. Phoenix died. And then
You hear that woman? Oh.
Yeah.
I couldn't play
That was Kate Moss.
Oh God, yeah.
You hear the British accent? Like, oh.
I was like, oh, no more cocaine.
I had to, because the guy was being an asshole about the arrangements of making a microphone for me.
Yeah, John. Everyone's an asshole except you.
I know. God forbid we, fix the acoustic guitar up to the level. I don't know these technical terms. Up to the level you need to get through your heroin stupor to play the guitar successfully. Okay, almost done.
And I felt like if I would have played his guitar that night, maybe he would have died.
Sounds like Joaquin, doesn't it?
You miss the women. They go, oh, don't say that. The way us women react sometimes to sad things just tickles me to no end. Oh, don't say that. Oh.
Fucking turn up the guitar, please.
Well, it's all good. You said please. Oops. Okay, that's starting it over. So, you want an update on the Viper Room? So
I gotta remember that rap. But anytime if I ever go on
guitar.
stage in any way, I'm just gonna steal that whole intro and get sympathy from the audience before I do anything. You can't fail, right? Once you put that out there, you're guaranteed to get applause.
If I was able to play this guitar that night, River wouldn't have died. It had nothing to do with the drink you gave him, right, buddy? So the update on the Viper Room. The Viper Room has been purchased by a commercial company and is going to be torn down more than likely this spring if all the permits go through. That entire block is about to be torn down, and probably
is that
a
why?
mall. Yeah, I don't know. Probably a mall is going to be built or something useless. So, and that's where the Viper Room ends.
This is Depp's chance to come back and save the Viper Room and save the whole block again and get the band back together and then have Tom Hansen open the club as he plays saxophone on opening night.
Yeah, Alex P. Hansen can play the saxophone. Sorry, if you ever watched the pilot episode, that's how they...
The Hollywood vampires would rechristen the new era of the Viper Room.
Alice Cooper crawls up on the stage. Sings a lovely "Feed My Frankenstein" with Depp.
When do we get into our Hollywood vampire episode and how that all came together? And Alice Cooper seems to be a good dude, though. He seems to be a like oddly like a normal guy for if you ever listen to. He's got Depp's back, and I bet he does because Depp accounts for 75% of the box office receipts for the.
You think that little?
All right, 85.
No, it's Joe Perry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Joe.
All right. Do you want to close it up with Viper Room comments, or I can go into the question?
Viper Room comments from whom?
You got anything to wrap up the Viper Room discussion?
Oh, for me. No, I think we're good as far as that goes. I would love to see the figures we went over again.
Oh, yeah.
If we could find that out of who owed what and how much money was made and lost and from the mess. So if we could somehow get into maybe the financial transcripts have something we haven't seen, maybe, but I'm not promising anything. But I think we could end it, with the question we got, right? From the email I sent you.
I think it's a two-parter, so this might take a few minutes to answer anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so this is from, I love the name, but I'm going to blame him for Tom Brady. This is from Boston Bruce. It's your fault, Bruce, that we are.
Oh, I think that's a play on the movie. I think that's a play on the movie Blow.
Oh.
Boston Judge.
Okay, I apologize.
In all honesty, I honestly don't feel like what I did was a crime, and I find it illogical and irresponsible for you to sentence me to prison. Because if you think about it, what did I do? I crossed an imaginary line with a bunch of plants.
Well, there we go.
Yes, Mr. Young, but unfortunately for you, that line you crossed was real, and the plants you brought with you were illegal. Did you know the judge in that scene is the chick from the broad from what was that Vicki Lawrence show where she plays the old woman?
Mama's Family?
Yes.
How dare
The
you
wife,
not know that?
Ken Berry's wife.
Yeah.
She's the judge
Naomi?
in that scene. Yes.
Oh, with the
I swear to God, go
off-the-shoulder.
back and watch it. You'd be like, oh my God.
Okay.
Swear to God.
I don't even remember that. That's
Rest
sad.
in peace, Ted Demme, by the way.
Yeah. Snort.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Len Bias of directors.
Oh. Okay, here we go. I like it already. Hi, Depp heads. I like that. I was wondering if you knew about the rumor of a 21 Jump Street reboot that involved a mostly female-centric cast, as well as the rumor Johnny had gotten offered to play the captain. Can you please speak to all that? You want to do that one first or the second one?
Yeah. First of all, I heard and read the rumor too. I hope it's true. I often said, what?
No.
No.
To...
Stay with me on this.
Okay.
It all comes full circle, right? So do you keep it in the movie verse, with the movies were basically satirical? Imagine you have Hansen playing the captain, right? So he's taking on the Stephen Williams Captain Fuller role, and he's in it, and I would imagine they would give Depp creative freedom in this to kind of do the way he thought the show should have been done in the first place, where it's got more of a hint of, oh, this would happen, a realistic or more grounded, or where they cover all their bases and you can't punch holes in the plots anymore. And he plays, and Stephen Williams is in it as like his consultant, retired Captain Fuller. Depp goes over to play poker with him on Wednesday nights, and you could have tons of cameos from the original cast. And Hansen is deploying these people and imparting his wisdom and you could do Hansen-centric episodes. I'm sure he would get that thing like and Johnny Depp, where his name, like Heather Locklear was to Melrose Place, at the end. Yeah. And all female, I don't see. I mean, it was woke to begin with, right? You had a black woman, a black guy, an Asian. It was already woke. They already had the PC cast to begin with, or the multiracial. How much woke could it be? We're fucking Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah. I mean, other than the gay community being representative, which I don't see happening really in 87 on Fox television, it was pretty diverse. It was a very diverse cast.
Very diverse. Another unique thing about that show. Right?
The only thing I would say, I'm hesitant because look what happened to Ghostbusters. And with the all-female woke cast.
I'll take the chance. No, I know what you mean, but I'll take the chance, though. I think in the right hands, and I think the producers of the films, Phil Lord and what was the other guy's name, are attached to this. You don't want it to be too comedic, and you don't want it to be too serious. You want some kind of blend down there. But I would lean towards serious. I think a good undercover show is a phenomenal. I never thought Jump Street should have ended. They could have expanded that. They could have gotten into older situations. I mean, literally the movie, the reveal of him at the end, he's a DEA agent, and you could have it where Hansen's in between. Almost the setting of it could be they can almost predate the movie, where Hansen's now running the Jump Street program. He comes back and that's his gig. Then he goes. You could easily do it.
Well, if Fox was brave enough at the time, you could go into like Law and Order type storylines.
Exactly.
Darken it up. That would have been great. I don't know.
How about the fucking the shooting from Michigan the other day?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's you can easily do a Jump Street episode. By the way, the name of the thing was Jump Street for Your Pleasure. Like a play on that it's all female.
All right.
For like the condom thing for your pleasure or something. Ribbed condoms for your but the all female thing is stupid because you're putting yourself in a limited hole. It's a very constrictive plot line. You can't do a male plot because you have that's the dumbest thing in the world. Why would you have an all female cast?
And this campaign to woke everything up it's eye rolling. It's getting to a point where people are just going to see the cast, and just roll their eyes and forget about it.
I don't think that could sustain. They got to have at least a couple male members of I don't care if it's half female, but you got to have some kind of. You can't do. You'd run out of plots. You can't just do all female. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
I know. So, let me see. What else did I forget?
It would be. It would be like you said. You would never run out of storylines because you have all stuff through the years that you could adapt. Like I said, that Michigan high school shooting the other day is right out of. You could do the whole thing with the parents on the run.
Every season you could have a school shooting, unfortunately.
And you could go and you could have multi-part. Like, it could be on the streaming services where you can curse and there can be nudity and it can be edgier and you're not bound by network stuff. And it would, could be phenomenal.
Oh, Netflix.
Like you said, Jump Street could have been like Law and Order. You could have gone on forever and rotated the cast and new people go in and out. The undercover stuff. I mean, Depp goes on to do Donnie Brasco, which you can almost make a case that Hanson could have become Joe Pistone.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
That would have been great. I would love that. Would I watch it? Absolutely. Even with an all-female cast and he's playing the captain, every second I would watch.
I think they would make the proper tweaks to make this thing, but I would love it. And then Hans, as much as Depp claims to have hated the show, he comes full circle and he gets the creative control that he becomes a producer on it.
That's what pushes me over because he knew exactly what was wrong with those scripts.
Oh, I know. It was phenomenal, prophetic. We saw that we were gonna do the Jump Street
Christmas,
opening episode where we were just gonna generalize. And he had phenomenal foresight and cerebral observations about the show back then in his mid to late 20s. I'm like, that's a really smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
About what was wrong and what they could have switched on it and changed and stuff. And he had some input, but not enough to make it, to correct all the things and I'm sure that he was distanced himself from it. So he's already hated being on it. So he's not going to push for creative control when he wants to get out.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to move on? There's a second part to his question.
But Boston Bruce, I am all for it. And I fucking hope it's true. And I hope it comes out as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if Depp's not getting huge movie offers, he's going to need some project.
That's where he needs to go.
I've always said he needs to do a good TV series again.
Good drama.
With today's state of television, which is better than movies, artistically and sort of expansively, where a full season of something, you really get into it.
They get 20 times the attention that a movie ever would.
Yep. I think so too.
Minamata.
Promoted right on Netflix. I think so too.
Okay, so Oscar or not, what do you feel is Depp's best performance in a film or TV? I'll go first. I think I mentioned it briefly, but
doesn't have to be the best movie. I think he's just saying performance.
Yeah. My two favorites, and I'll tell you the winner. Ed Wood.
That's good.
And Black Mass.
Ooh, that's really good.
The scene in Black Mass where he's choking the woman puts the Black Mass performance over Ed Wood. That's my answer. Done.
You stole my thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
With Black Mass. No, that's okay.
You'll word it even better than me, so go ahead.
No, I won't. I mean, I think he did a nice job. Hit the range of that guy too, to be able to do Ed Wood and Whitey Bulger from the same human being is rather incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, as far as performances go, some people might say Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing. I mean, he's just possessed. He is a cartoon character. He is out of the, to adapt that book seemed to be an impossibility, and he just was amazing as Thompson. I'm really inclined to go with you on Whitey Bulger. I thought he is inhuman looking. Like I said, he looks like Kurtwood Smith from That 70s Show. By the way, Fox show, and there'd be no That 70s Show without 21 Jump Street. Kurtwood Smith was on Jump Street twice as Agent Phillips, I might add. We'll get to that. So the way his eye, the contact lenses they gave him, the blue eyes and the possessed face, and just the inhumanity, the sociopath nature. He's almost Serpentine-like in the violent films. And he's so believable when he chokes out the broad and you just don't see how unpredictable his Whitey Bulger was. I understand the real Whitey Bulger wanted nothing to do with this film, and you can't portray me. I heard some old footage of the real Whitey Bulger. There's not a lot of it. And he sounds more like Bill Burr, the comedian.
Okay.
Like, fuck you fucking cocksucker! You're not gonna portray me, no fucking that fucking fag from 21 Jump Street's not gonna. Is that kind of rhythm? I think Depp subtled him out or slowed him down a little more.
Well,
but that's the second time. You know, when he did. Some people would love him as Boston. I'm guessing Boston Bruce loves George Young, which is also a great choice in Blow. Donnie Brasco. It's always going to be the crime genre. Some people might.
I'm looking at the two where I can look at the movie.
we know what Brian Cox doesn't like, right?
Yeah.
Scissorhands.
Yeah. I'm looking at my selections also. I can look at the movie and it's not Johnny Depp. It's the character that they're playing. The Whitey Bulger, the physical appearance of Whitey Bulger puts that over Ed Wood for me.
It's scarier than an actual horror movie. His portrayal of Whitey Bulger is scarier than fucking Freddy Krueger is, because it's a real thing that happened. And the way like I said, the way he's serpentine-like in his portrayal, where you just don't know where he's coming from. He's so unpredictable. And it's so brilliant. I mean, a lot of the actors in the industry really came out and recognized that. I mean, Harrison Ford had I don't know if it was an interview, if you can find it, video, but Harrison Ford had an interview where he said it's the best thing he's seen in 20 years.
Yeah, I might be able to find that. I'll put it in like an
It's just one peer. You know, it's been echoed. How he wasn't nominated for is absolutely more criminal than the Winter Hill Gang ever had, because he's better than everybody nominated. I think DiCaprio fucking won for what's the movie he did in the winter? He's in the winter. I forget the name. It's like
he gets like raped by a bear or something.
He doesn't speak in the movie. It's just not even close. It's not even. Again, it's subjective. I don't give a shit. I don't think it's close. But you know, Jack Sparrow in Pirates 1.
Yes.
So the brilliance to be able to take Keith Richards and Pepe Le Pew, and we've all heard the story a million times. But that first movie.
Yeah.
Again, nominated for an Academy Award. He won the SAG Award. Bill Murray won the Golden Globe. And Sean Penn won the Oscar.
For Mystic River.
So it was Lost in Translation was Bill Murray's role. So it was recognized, but not nearly. But it's such an iconic character, and the face of Disney in a way. But I can't believe we have the same. I'm gonna say Black Mass. Underrated role, City of Lies.
Okay.
I thought that one, not a lot of people saw because of when it came out. But he almost looks like. Did you watch City of Lies?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
It had me thinking he could play Commissioner Gordon.
I got it legally from somebody on Twitter. Legally.
Yeah.
And
I saw that.
So I don't know why I saw bits and pieces. I was distracted by home stuff, so I didn't get back to it like I wanted to. But it's on my list of about 55 movies I need to watch. I will eventually. I've seen most of it, but he did a great job.
You see that with Notorious B.I.G.'s mom.
Yeah.
At the end, Violetta Wallace.
Yeah, I did that. Yes,
it was a huge Depp. She was on there saying how great Depp is. I think when the succubus stuff went down, she went on Instagram, was saying what a beautiful human being he is and stuff. I love that scene with her at the end. It is. When I was watching, I had these flashes of like that Depp could play Commissioner Gordon, because he looked like my vision of what Commissioner Gordon should always look like.
With the blonde mustache.
Yeah, like the blonde graying mustache, and he's got the holsters on and the classic old cop garb and stuff.
Yep.
And I wouldn't mind seeing that someday.
Good answer. As I said before, you explained it perfectly and better than I could. So we're almost at 3 hours, so let's wrap this up.
I know.
I'm done with the Viper Room.
Plus your interstitials and your brilliant film.
That'll be tomorrow morning at
when you throw that together. I think you've been doing a really. When I go back and watch it, and I see the video editions. I'm like, holy! You just have that savant filmmaker vision of throwing in the.
I'm going to throw in a surprise at the beginning of the intro just for you. I'm not going to tell you what it is until I send you the final copy.
Okay, good.
So, all right. So I'm going to say goodbye. I think we're done.
Thank you, Sarah.
All right. Thank you as always.
Thank you, Depheads. Oh,
next...
well, give that to the email address for questions.
Oh, yeah. thedeppening@gmail.com. Send us questions. We'll answer them. No question is dumb. We'll answer any question unless it's disrespectful. And I apologize for the coughing. I tried to hit the mute button on time. I missed a bunch of coughs, I know. So next
Listen
time
to
we'll
the
do better.
Radio Gunk podcast.
Yes.
I believe Monique is releasing something tonight.
I think Pelican Brief.
Is it a Pelican Brief remaster of some kind?
Part 2? I wish it was.
Yeah, we should be doing something this week too. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's at radiogunk.com. All right.
All right. So
Thank
good night,
you.
everybody.
Good night, Depheads.
Right, bye-bye.
Hey, Pop. May the wind always be at your back, and the sun upon your face, and the winds of destiny carry you aloft to dance with the stars.
I just go out and just play basketball, good, hard-nosed basketball. Things happen throughout the course of the game. There's nothing you can do. I don't go out to look to say I'm going to beat this guy up or beat that guy up.
Anything else, X?
Yes, Steve don't come yet.